everybody. It is the Mike Missanelli Show on another cold day, Thursday. Couple days. We await NFC title game. We've had experience with NFC title games. A few of them didn't go our way. I think this one is, though, and I'm very confident that the Eagles will move on to the Super Bowl like everybody else is. But, well, I don't know if everybody else is. And that's the point as we open this show today, because there are a lot of people that always want to hearken back to previous failures. And it was interesting. I was reading a story today about the Carolina Panthers NFC title game and how everybody had come into this game thinking that the Eagles would get a bop. Because if you remember, the real threatening team that year were the Rams, and they were upset by the Carolina Panthers. And in this story, it does, it's pretty accurate, the description. The NFC Championship game felt more like a victory lap. It was almost like when the Phillies played the Tampa Bay Rays for the to win the World Series. Like that year, it was like, okay, they got the easier draw. And we thought the same thing when they played the Carolina Panthers. If people are old enough to remember that game where Donovan Kincade came up real small, got intercepted 3 times, and then got hurt. And some defensive back named Ricky Manning was the star of that game, and Jake Delhomme was the frickin' quarterback who beat the Eagles that day. And these are the scars that linger for Philadelphia Eagle fans. When you lose 3 NFC title games, people go, well, it doesn't really matter who the opponent is, whether you're better than the opponent or not, whether it looks like you should win the game. These scars will never go away. You can put all kinds of medication on them, but when you get into a situation like this, and it's really interesting, the Eagles are a prohibitive favorite in the NFC title game. And yet people, and we've heard from them for the last couple of days, this Washington team, you better watch out. You know, you can't take it for granted, blah, 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 blah. These are the scars that people keep feeling. And so I guess I want to ask the question, is it fair or is it inappropriate that Eagle fans let past failures creep into their mindset? And we go into the concept of the sky is falling and the negadelphia, and people try to justify that. And I always go, there's no justification. Like, one year should not blend into the other. The circumstances of the Eagles losing to the Carolina Panthers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers way back or the Arizona Cardinals way back, all 3 with McNabb, by the way, should that seep into your mindset of, oh, no, something bad could happen? I've been fighting this battle for a lot of years. Now, we got Bill Colarulo here. We got Ray Dunn here. I hate when it seeps in. I always go, listen, you've got to be confident in your squad. This team has presented you with maybe the best team in the NFL, certainly one of the top 3. They're better than the Commanders. And instead of us embracing that, we go the other way sometimes. And so I want to call up on Eagle fans to, this is really, you're on the sofa today, and I want you to get this out of your system. I want you to tell me what is your mindset when it comes to this? Why you would rather feel fear than confidence that you have a great team? Is that a fair question, Bill, to ask the people today?
I think it's more than a fair question. It's something I really want to know the answer to, because I mentioned this to Ray last night. It doesn't feel like we're as excited as we should be right now, because there's that sense of nervousness, like you're saying, that, oh, but what if they lose? But, what if? Can they keep winning this way? The Eagles are in the NFC Championship game. They're hosting the NFC Championship game. They're a 6.5-point favorite, and they're a better team on both sides of the football. We shouldn't let past experiences creep in. See, I try to live my life 3 things, Mike.
One foot in front of the other?
No.
Oh, what?
Dance like nobody's watching, work like you don't need the money, and love like you've never been hurt. We need to approach this Philadelphia Eagles team like we've never been hurt.
Did you learn that from Jim Murphy's book?
That is not from Inner
Is that the
Excellence.
Bill Colarulo book you're carrying around?
I believe it is from Bill Colarulo.
I disagree with the first one, but anyway, go ahead.
Dance like nobody's watching?
Yeah, come on,
Oh,
man. You
come
can't
on,
be
man.
dancing like nobody's watching, and you get like Elaine in Seinfeld, and everybody makes fun of you for the rest of your life.
See, I always dance.
If you took the dancing part out of it, you have no inhibitions when it comes to that. But I guarantee you, people are going, look at that J.O.
No, I got rhythm, brother. I got rhythm, man. I dance like no one's watching, but clearly they are because I'm so damn good.
Let's get back to the subject, though. You're right in a respect. I go, well, it's one foot in front of the other. Everything is current. If you live in the moment, and I'm not trying to give you a philosophy of life. I'm not going to write a damn book on it that A.J. Brown's going to carry away. But the fact of the matter is that every situation is different. And if you allow past failures to creep into your mindset, you're not having as much fun. You're just not having as much fun. If you're going to go, oh, my God, I'm scared. Washington Commanders are the team of destiny. Oh, they got this great quarterback that's going to make all these plays. You're then forgetting the accomplishment of your own position. And your own position, these guys and this coaching staff have earned the right to be on that pedestal, that plateau. If they lose, well, we're going to react to the loss, but we're going to react in real time instead of reacting prior to the result.
Now, it's going to be a good vibes day today. We're going to exercise the demons. Exercise the demons.
I don't know if it's going to be a good vibes day or not, because we're going to get a lot of people that say, here's why I'm scared, Mike, and I think you should be scared too, which is fine. But as long as we get it out and discuss it, it's fine. I don't think we're going to change anybody's mind. I'm just saying I don't understand why you would let that pull you down from the joy of this thing or the accomplishment of this thing and the certainty that they're good. And you can't do anything more about it other than they're good, and we'll see what happens. 610-632-0975. We're going to give you the injury report on the other side because it looks like both the key players who were injured are going to be all good, we hope. Mike Missanelli Show on a cold Thursday right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. It's 10:12. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. 610-632-0975. All right, let's get into the injury report here, the current news. I got the injury report news right here. The Eagles listed 6 players under a limited participation yesterday and 2 players who did not participate. So let's look at that first. This is Thursday. They did not participate on a Wednesday. Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens, or as Tom Brady would say, Cam Jurgens. So Jurgens was a little banged up. I don't see the non-participation as anything that's going to have anything to do with Sunday, nor do I see it with Dallas Goedert. They're banged up. That's a day of rest for them, right? Limited participation. Jalen Hurts, Quinyon Mitchell, both are going to play. A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson, Josh Sweat, and Britton Covey, who's now they opened a 21-day window on him to come back and play so he could be the punt returner. I get it. None of those 6 players will miss the game. Maybe Covey will. So limited participation and did not participate in this context with an NFC title game on deck means nothing.
And it was a walkthrough. So a lot of it's estimated because it's just a walkthrough. But it's good to know, and I think the line indicates this as well. The reason it's a 6.5-point line is because Jalen and Quinyon are going to play. If Jalen and Quinyon were not going to play, maybe the line, probably 4. Maybe that's why it opened at 4.5.
Now, the question we have here is, will Quinyon Mitchell be at full strength and be able to satisfy this monumental task that he has to play against Terry McLaurin? And the other, and obviously Jalen Hurts' mobility. But Jalen Hurts, I don't have any problem with his mobility. I think he'll be fine. I think that when you get into a game, you don't think about your lack of mobility. You just do it. And I think he's that type of guy. Now, as far as the Commanders go, we know Sam Cosmi is out.
Huge loss for them.
It is a tremendous loss because Jalen Carter is going to eat whoever that replacement is, the center, and that whoever that guard is. Zach Ertz, all right, he's old, rib rest. Cleveland Ferrell, knee rest. Dante Fowler, rest. Deron Payne, knee finger rest. And Bobby Wagner, ankle, he will play. And they're getting their defensive tackle back this week. So they're going to be good, too. There will be nothing, except Cosmi. There is nothing that will affect this game health-wise.
Yeah, you would hope. I mean, I still go back to, I know you glossed over the Hurts knee injury. Mm-hmm. You just need Hurts to have more mobility than it looked like he had at the end of that Rams game. I think that played a lot into why he took some of the bad sacks, the safety. If he's mobile there, if he doesn't have that knee injury, maybe he's making the guy miss and he's able to get rid of the football. But I really think the most important part of it is being that +1 in the rushing attack. We've talked about that. Jalen needs to be a threat with his legs, or things are completely different in how you approach the offense as a defense for the Washington Commanders. If they don't have to worry about Jalen running the football, makes it a little bit easier to stop Saquon. It's the reason why Barkley didn't have the same level of success once Pickett went in the game. So that's my one area of concern. How mobile will Hurts be? And we're probably not going to know the answer until Sunday at 3 o'clock. We're going to hear he's okay, but how mobile he looks will depend on Sunday at 3.
Yeah. All right, so let's just go back because we're talking about, is it fair that Eagle fans let scars seep into their feelings? I would think that right now there are more Eagle fans that think that they're going to win this game rather handily than fans who are scared of the Washington Commanders. Do you feel that? And what we talked about, now we've heard from some people, but I think the majority, there's a silent majority out there that feels really comfortable about this game.
I hope so, because I do feel there's a little bit of tension from the fan base because of the past scars. But that's why I was hoping today we would hear from the people who were confident, who are going to say, hey, listen, I'm not worried about what's happened before. I even heard some people saying, well, after what happened with the Phillies, it's hard for me. No. You can't allow what happened with the Phillies to impact how you feel about the Philadelphia Eagles. And then, Mike, that article that talked about Jake Delhomme, the 2003 Panthers, you mentioned this in the Open. I went back because sometimes you forget, and your mind plays tricks on you, and you think, well, that 2003 team, they were just as dominant as this team. Do you know that 2003 team finished 18th in the NFL in offense? 18th in the NFL in offense. They were 20th in defense. As good as that team was, because I remember, 12-4. I was at that game. I thought it was a sure thing they were going to the Super Bowl. They had the 18th ranked offense and the 20th ranked defense, so maybe they weren't as good. And remember, Westbrook was out for that game. He was out for the season. He got hurt in the last week of the season.
You're telling me they weren't better than Carolina?
Well, they were better than Carolina,
stop
yes.
it. So whatever those numbers mean nothing to me, right? Here. Let's go back into the trauma, because to get over the trauma, you have to go back deep into the trauma. This was a long time ago. It was 21 years ago, right? The Eagles had had battled back against the Green Bay Packers with the 4th and 26.
Yes, Fred X, man.
Right. So they won the and it was like, okay, well, this is destiny. They converted that. They won that game. And not only that, the Panthers go into St. Louis and beat the greatest show on turf in an upset. So combining the two, you had the Eagles as a favorite in the NFC title game over Jake Delhomme and the Carolina Panthers, and they lost it. So to dig into the trauma of that, I get it.
You know what the spread was? I pulled it up.
3.5.
Close. Good guess.
Yeah, it was
4.
I thought it was in that. But still, they shouldn't have lost to the Carolina Panthers. These are the scars that people can't get over. And in a way, I see why, right? Because that's a game that you go, you got to be kidding me. We converted 4th and 26. The St. Louis Rams, greatest show on turf, loses to that team, and we can't win the NFC title game at home?
That's why destiny means nothing. And I'm talking to the Washington Commanders on this one, because I was with you. I thought 4th and 26, it's destiny. They're finally going to get over the hump.
Exactly.
It means nothing.
But every team is different. This team has developed into one of the best teams in the league. And that's what we don't rely most on. It's what the owners and the gentlemen put in front of you. And what they put in front of you is the best case scenario possible. All right. 610-632-0975. We got a lot of text. We want to hear from you. 610-632-0975. Back at this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The health of the birds. I'm Ray Tom with this Fanatic Sports Update. We got our first look at the health of a number of Eagles players with the Wednesday injury report, which was an estimation due to the fact they went through a walkthrough instead of a full practice yesterday. Jalen Hurts' knee is the primary point of concern, and he addressed his status yesterday when he met with the media.
Yeah, it's just been progressing, taking it a day at a time. Was able to participate today and be involved in stuff, so just taking it a day at a time.
Feel like you're still on track to play Sunday?
Yeah.
Still on track to play Sunday. Great news for the Birds, but he isn't the only banged-up Bird. Quinyon Mitchell was listed as limited due to his shoulder. Both Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens were listed as did not practice. Again, it was an estimation due to the fact they went through a walkthrough. Eagles host the Commanders for the NFC Championship game Sunday at 3. You can listen to the Westwood One broadcast of the game starting at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere in Philly, sports Flyers are on the road against the Rangers tonight at 7. You can listen live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Coming January 25th, the biggest fighting event ever to hit Philadelphia, Knuckle Mania 5 from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Saturday, January 25th at Wells Fargo Center. I'm Ray Town reminding that live coverage of Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Vacation?
Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. And text board is just beaming with confidence. So it is possible that I'm wrong, but we have talked to many people during the week, and we've taken many texts and chat board comments and previous chat board stuff about, oh God, you're taking the Commanders lightly. It's just Jaden Daniels is blah blah blah. And it's, I know a part of it is Jaden Daniels, but part of it is the past scars that we just can't seem to get rid of. And I'm going deep into one today. This might be the biggest scar. No, it's probably not bigger than Tampa Bay, but it's a pretty big scar when you use the Carolina Panthers at home, and everything goes bad. You know?
Yeah, that was disappointing, man. But this is just such a different team. I know we still have those scars, but you're right. Tampa's probably the worst one. But, Mike, that 2003 Eagles team, their leading wide receiver on that team was Todd Pinkston with 575 yards. And they had James Thrash and Freddie Mitchell. And their backfield, because Westbrook was hurt, was Deuce and Carell Buckhalter.
Bill,
you don't have Saquon Barkley on that team.
Bill, were they better than Carolina? Should they have beaten Carolina?
They should have.
All right, well,
They
that's the only
definitely
thing that
should have.
matters. Doesn't matter when you break it down who they had.
That one was a shocker.
They were better than Carolina.
I know. I remember.
The Eagles are better than the Commanders here. The Eagles are so much better than that team we're talking about that lost to Carolina, but the scars still weigh some people down on it.
But they shouldn't. They should not. There's also another big difference. I know the Panthers had upset the Rams the week before that on the road, but their wild card matchup was at home. The Commanders now would have to win 3 straight road games. They'd have to knock off. For them to beat the Eagles, they would have to have beaten the 3 seed, the 1 seed, the 2 seed, all on the road, 3 straight weeks with a rookie quarterback, which has never been done in a championship game. I'm not scared that this is a team of destiny talking about the Commanders. The Eagles are the better team. I'm not worried about past failures.
If they are the team of destiny, then they are. Then we'll find that out Sunday, probably at like 6:30 p.m. But, like, I'm talking about the look into this game, the fearful look that takes over because of the past scars. In a lot of ways, I get it. But I certainly don't get it when they have built this team to be one of the best teams ever, best Eagle teams ever. Like you can't deny that this is one of the best Eagle teams ever, and they built that. They gave you that gift, right? That we as a fan and as an analyst, that's all we expect. Do the best that you possibly can for the fan base. Do you think the Eagles have maximized that principle as they go into this game? They're freaking favored to win the Super Bowl. The facts are what they are.
Well, did you see Darren Sproles, who was on the team that did win the Super Bowl in 2017? He said this is probably the best Eagles team in franchise history. That was a guy that was on the 2017 Eagles, which is the only team to ever win a Super Bowl here. He says it's the best team. I feel confident. I'm hopeful that a lot of fans are confident. And I don't want the past scars to creep in.
If they lose, they lose. And you'll hear several weeks of frustration and maybe hate that pours out of these airwaves, right? But that can only happen on Monday, right? We're here on Thursday, and we're looking at a better team than they're going to play on Sunday at home.
And the people who are nervous, I keep hearing all of the reasons why the Eagles can't keep winning. Like, I got a laundry list of reasons why the Eagles will keep winning. And you mentioned it. Not only are they the best team probably in franchise history, let's talk about the most important position. Andy Reid taught us this. The offensive and defensive lines. Do the Eagles not have the best offensive line in the NFL? Do the Eagles not have one of the best, if not the best, defensive tackle in the NFL in Jalen Carter, going up against a banged-up Washington Commanders offensive line? Mm-hmm. You got Nolan Smith, who I was ready to write off before the season, has grown into being an absolute stud. You know, he only needs one more sack, and he will set an Eagles franchise record for the most sacks in a postseason. passing Hassan Reddick. I mean, this Eagles defensive line and offensive line could be the main reason why I am as confident as I am that they're going to ride this all the way to a Super Bowl victory.
Here's the question I have for people. What more could they have done to convince you that they're the best team? The only thing that people hold back on here is whether Jalen Hurts is a good enough passer, whether their passing game is good enough. What more could they have done to convince you? What, to have another quarterback in there? Like, he's your quarterback. This is a guy that was an MVP candidate very recently. This is a guy who went to a Super Bowl already, right? So what more could they have done to prevent you from not letting the scars of the past overtake you? That's the question you need to ask yourself. And if you come to the conclusion, you go, well, they really couldn't have done anything more. So the scars don't even matter at that point. That's where I'm getting to with this conversation.
You're right. What more could they have done?
They couldn't have done anything more. They have maximized this team to win something. Now, if they don't win something, there's going to be a reason for that. And we're going to see it with our own two eyes as the game plays out Sunday and as the game would play out in the Super Bowl. All right? Let's go to the text board, Ray. What do we got so far on this?
All right, I'll start with the people that are fearful. And their fearfulness really just comes down to being scared of the past. We're just saying we're scared. We know they should win, but I'm terrified of another heartbreak. That's a first-time unnamed texter that just want to let us know they're scared because of past heartbreak. And then Joe from Jersey saying, I have PTSD. I can't help it. It's PTSD. So those are two people fearful right now.
But what takes you over the top of TSD? Confidence in your team. Confidence in the fact that they build a team that's really good. You know, like,
yeah.
you can't look at, like, this is such a different situation from the past when they have come up short. No team that came up short was as complete as this team. I think we could say that, right?
Yeah, I'm looking in the YouTube chat, and a lot of what I'm seeing, though, is revolving around Jalen Hurts. Is that,
Yeah, okay,
some are worried about the injury, others are worried about the passing game. But at the same time, if you're worried about Jalen Hurts, this season, with him as the starting quarterback, the Eagles are 14-2, and they've won 12 straight games in games that he started and finished. So we talked a little bit about this yesterday. It hasn't hurt them. So the people who are worried about Jalen Hurts and worried about the passing game, the Eagles have shown it's not hurting them. They continue to win football games. They continue to move the football up and down the field. Now, a valid concern is the knee. I talked about that earlier, but I'm not worried about the passing game anymore. And they showed us that they can throw the ball when they need to against Pittsburgh. But really, I don't think they're going to need to, Mike. You're talking about a Commanders defense that isn't good against the run. And you still got Saquon, and you still have this offensive line.
So you're worried that you don't have Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, or maybe even Jaden Daniels. That's what your worry is. Well, guess what? A lot of teams don't have them. You don't have them. What are you going to do about it? Are you going to cry about it? You got a quarterback who can win anyway, even if you don't have Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen. Like, you can't hope for things that aren't there. You're like, I wish we had the best quarterback in the league. Well, you don't at this point. That doesn't mean that you can't win. All right, we're going to get to the calls. Carlos been hanging on. He's going to be our first caller. Here's how you get in. 610-632-0975. It is the Mike Missanelli Show, and it's 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Philadelphia 70.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 Cincinnati. I gotta hear from Jalen Hurts because he was talking about his injury, and he gave the typical Jalen Hurts. I can't get enough of Jalen and the robotic answers that he gives you, so I apologize.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
Exactly. That's the kind of thing that I need to keep
You
me
gotta
going.
try and be the coffee bean.
Jalen Hurts. So he was asked about the injury. Yeah, we have that, right? We have Jalen Hurts 5, right? Let me hear from Jalen.
It's a part of the game. I accept whatever comes with that. I told you guys I've submitted myself to doing whatever it takes to win, and some things come with that. But ultimately, you just got to make the adjustments you need to make to be able to play at a high level. There won't be any excuses going in or coming out.
All right. So I was reading the quote, so it was transposed the wrong way by the writer, I guess, because the quote that he has in there, it's a part of the game. It's a part of the game, and whatever comes with that. Like that. Like that's it. That's what the quote I was looking for. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe the guy transcribed it wrong. But I told you guys I've submitted myself to doing whatever it takes to win, and some things come with that. So whatever comes with that is what I was. That's the quote that I'm relying on here.
He's very poetic. I heard. Rumor is he's going to write.
When you play to the standard, you win.
He's going to write the foreword to the next Inner Excellence.
No, I don't think he wants anything to do with that inner excellence. He's got his own inner excellence in his head. He's already got that book in his head with all those parables. He doesn't need a book.
No, he does. I mean, look, he
can spit them out one after another.
He grew up. His father was a high school football coach, so he was around those types of messages. And then he goes and he plays under Nick Saban. So he is. He's been programmed from a very young age.
Are you sure his father wasn't an alien?
I don't know. I've never actually heard his dad speak. I've never heard his dad.
He spawned Jalen, and he spawned in kind of an AI human, which is, I guess it's all right. I don't care. Whatever you are back there.
Whatever you are.
Part of the game is part of the game.
Hey, as long as he keeps winning, man.
Exactly.
Bill, you're not giving your guy enough credit. Grew up with a high school coach, Nick Saban. Now he gets listed to a guy.
We all fertilize.
With such wisdom as well.
Yeah.
Well, Ray walked out this morning before the show because I lost my mind.
Yeah, I know. Let's hold on to that.
Yeah,
thought.
we'll get there.
Hold on to that thought. It has to do with Dan Campbell, and I'm trying to spare people the Dan Campbell wrath for just a little longer in this show.
Oh, well, it's coming, so stay tuned.
It's going to come a little bit later. Okay, let's get back to the text board. Greg from Williamstown on the text board.
I'm having an issue with others being too confident.
I'm having an issue with others being too confident. Listen to that. I'm having an issue with others being too confident. In other words, if you're too confident, the sky's going to fall on you. It has nothing to do with how good your team is. It's all supernatural. It's all because Jake frickin' Delhomme won a game 21 years ago.
Well, play devil's advocate here because I know, because my dad is one of these Negadelphians. It's not just the Jake Delhomme game. It is a long history in Philadelphia of usually coming up short. Outside of 08
let me ask you this one
and
question.
2017, we usually come up short.
Any of those teams that came up short as good as this team?
Yeah, I think maybe. Look.
Wait. This is arguably the best team ever. The best defense they've ever put on a field. The best offensive line they've ever put on a field. The best running back maybe in the league history.
Just the Eagles. Yes, this is probably the best team.
Well, that's all we're talking
in Eagles
about.
history. But what I'm saying is you can't look at the. And I agree with you, Mike. I'm saying
You're
people
not
shouldn't.
agreeing with me. You're putting some doubt in it.
I'm playing devil's advocate. The Negadelphian attitude isn't just because of what's happened with the Eagles in the past. It's what's happened with the Flyers. It's what's happened with the Sixers. It's what's happened with the Phillies.
It doesn't matter what happened to the Flyers and the Eagles. They're different sports. They were built differently by different people. We're talking about the level playing field of this Eagles team right now on this date, January 23rd, 2025. Can you get any better than what the Eagles are putting on the field right now?
No, and I am with you on it. I'm trying to put myself in the psyche of that Negadelphian attitude, and that's what it comes down to.
But what you're doing is you're feeding it. Because you went, Look, that's what you did.
The overconfidence thing that Greg is worried about from Williamstown. I would agree if the players were feeling overconfident. I don't get that from these guys.
But the fans should be overconfident. Yes. That's my point. They should be overconfident, and they're not, because the Eagles have maximized the value of the team to you. You can't do anything more than what they've done unless you can somehow make a trade Jalen Hurts for Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen.
Yeah. But I think it's all coming down to Hurts. Like MBD, who's an avid listener on our YouTube chat, he says, I'm not pounding my chest the way our quarterback is playing. And we went over this yesterday. We've been going over this for weeks. The way your quarterback is playing is winning more games than anyone in the last 3 seasons outside of Patrick Mahomes.
The way your quarterback is playing feeds into what they do best. This is why I don't get it. They let these scars seep into the. This is a completely different feeling that should be scar-proof. Now, if they lose, okay, we're going to have to deal with it. But if they lose, it's not because, well, see, you were overconfident, and this always happens to Philadelphia. If they lose, it would have to be some quirk that they lost to this inferior team. For God's sake, they're almost a touchdown favorite in this game.
You know what it would have to be? It'd have to be turnovers. Because you look at last week, how did the Commanders beat the Lions? They forced 5 takeaways, even though they gave up over 500 yards. And this is going to make people feel good if you're nervous out there. With Jalen Hurts as the quarterback, the Philadelphia Eagles have only lost the turnover battle one time, going all the way back to before the bye week, once with Jalen Hurts as the quarterback. So the likelihood that they lose the turnover battle, the way they've been playing and the way they've been protecting the football, is extremely unlikely. And when you have a Commanders defense that just gave up 200 rushing yards to Jared Goff's led Detroit Lions offense, the Eagles are going to be able to run the ball. And they're not going to turn the football over. And that fluky turnover isn't going to happen this week. That's why I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling confident because of the line. I'm going to keep giving reasons for people to be confident. The offensive line, the defensive line, the way they protect the football. I got more of them. I'll keep them coming.
Let's go to Carlos in Philly. Carlos, thanks for hanging on. We appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate it. You guys are doing a great job. Thanks for your great service with this station. I'm one of those fans that's very excited and very happy. I'm very confident. We're going to win. I don't know how we're going to win.
Well, I know how you're going to win. I know how they're going to win. It's really easy.
Let me finish.
All right, go ahead.
Finish.
Go ahead.
I don't know how we're going to win, but we're going to win, okay? The reason that we have so many Negadelphians is because for the last 30 years, Philadelphia's had good sports teams, very good sports teams in many years. And, of course, they've come up very short because we only have a few championships between baseball, basketball, and football. And when you have teams that are consistently good, but they come up short, it creates a lot of that doubt. Where you have other franchises where they suck for 10 or 12 years, they're good for 2 or 3, and during one of those seasons they come up short, it's not as traumatic. We're consistently good in those 3 sports. And, well, maybe not baseball all the time, but we have been. And, the Sixers are now a really good team, and they're very disappointing. So that's what's created this. Me personally, I really love Jalen Hurts. I don't care. You guys should make fun of him and his dad. Listen, whatever his dad did to him, I love the way he did it to him. I like the fact that he doesn't engage the media, and he keeps it close to his vest, and he's got the robotic answers. The kid's a winner. I wish people in Philadelphia would stop doubting him and doubting his team. Remember last year, we were terrible. Nobody expected us, as a true fan with a rational voice, nobody expected us to suddenly go out and go 14-3 and be probably the best team in the NFL. So I'm embracing this. I'm happy. I can't wait for this game, and I can't wait to get to the Super Bowl.
All right, Carlos, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Now, he said that we've had some great teams that failed. We haven't had a lot of great teams. We've had an occasional great team. But my point is, it doesn't matter, Flyers. Get to this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The health of the Birds. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We got our first look at the health of a number of Eagles players with the Wednesday injury report, which was an estimation due to the fact they went through a walkthrough yesterday. Jalen Hurts' knee, of course, the primary point of concern, and he addressed his status yesterday when he met with the media.
Yeah, it's just been progressing, taking it a day at a time. Was able to participate today and be involved in stuff, so just taking it a day at a time.
Feel like you're still on track to play Sunday?
Yeah.
Still on track to play Sunday. Great news for the Birds, but Hurts isn't the only banged up Bird. Quinyon Mitchell was limited due to his shoulder. He is expected to play on Sunday. Both Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens were listed as did not practice. Again, it was an estimation due to the fact that it was just a walkthrough yesterday for the Eagles. The Eagles host the Commanders for the NFC Championship game Sunday at 3 o'clock. You can listen to the Westwood One broadcast of the game starting at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere in Philadelphia sports, the Flyers are on the road against the Rangers tonight at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship coming January 25th, the biggest fighting event ever to hit Philadelphia. Knuckle Mania 5 from Bare Knuckle Fighting Championships, Saturday, January 25th at Wells Fargo Center. I'm Ray Dunn, reminding that live coverage of Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Not only can you listen to The Fanatic,
6. Like Missanelli show. If the Eagles make it to the Super Bowl, this would be 2 Super Bowls. Both Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Would that then place them as the all-time QB coach duo in Philadelphia history?
If they get there and win it. I think if they just get there and they were to lose, I think you still got to put Reed and McNabb above.
Really? How many Super Bowls did Donovan McNabb play in?
Only one.
Uh-huh.
4 NFC championship games.
Yeah, and they lost 3 of them as
They
the
did.
favorite.
They did. It would be close. Look, you know I'm the biggest Sirianni guy going.
Uh-huh.
But I think if they got there and they won, then I would have to put them as the best head coach quarterback combo.
And if they lost, all your statistics about Sirianni that you constantly put out the air, he's this, he's that, he's one of 4 coaches of this, blah, 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 and you're still not going to anoint, even if they get to the Super Bowl, you will not anoint them as the best QB coach duo in Eagle history.
Not yet. I mean, they're trending that way.
Well,
They're trending that way.
Within a short period of time, they've done more than McNabb and Reed would have done.
I'd love to give it to them. I'd love to give them. I just think that they would have to do it a little bit longer.
What is this? What's going on here? Right, he's holding back on his boy.
It's amazing because when I thought about this was really directed at. I thought Bill was just going to be like, yeah, of course they would be. Of course, Sirianni 2 Super Bowls. What other coaches done that? I feel like your entire Sirianni argument is what other coaches done what Sirianni's done.
He does it every day.
Yeah, but
he puts it out there every day.
They're great, man. I love Sirianni and Hurts and the duo. I just couldn't put them above Reed and McNabb for how long Reed and McNabb did it. Look, McNabb, when Hurts finishes his career, I think he will go down as the best quarterback in franchise history. He's not there yet. I still give that to McNabb. When Sirianni finishes his career, will he go down as a better coach in franchise history than Andy Reid? Maybe he will. But right now, if they get to the Super Bowl and they lose, I still wouldn't put this duo above that duo. If they get there and they win,
I don't understand your rationale. Yeah, winning percentage, both the now I'm just playing devil's advocate because you know how I feel. Sirianni has to do it for a little longer period of time.
Yeah.
But when you look at winning percentages and you look at all these little statistics that you constantly throw out about how he's the only coach that ever did this, and ever did that, I don't understand how you couldn't, based on winning percentage alone. Where is that going to drop off dramatically? What was McNabb's winning percentage with Andy Reid?
I'm looking here. Well, Andy Reid's history as the coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, he coached 224 games. They were 130, 93, and 1 for a 583 winning percentage. But that's over 14 years, and all of those didn't include McNabb, obviously.
So that winning percentage that Hurts and Sirianni have kills that number.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Well, there you go.
But McNabb in Philadelphia was 92, 49, and 1. I don't know what that winning percentage is. 92, 49, and 1 in 11 years. But he had 92 wins. Look, they're headed there. They get there and they win it. And they have a Super Bowl victory and a Super Bowl appearance under their belt. Yeah, maybe they go down as the best. See, I tweeted something out this morning, and I'm curious of your take on this. And this applies right to what we're talking about. The narrative that I keep hearing about Sirianni and Hurts is this. Nick Sirianni only has the success that he's had because of how talented the roster is. Jalen Hurts only has the success that he's had because of how talented the roster is. But shouldn't we be saying, Mike, that the talented roster is only having this level of success because of Sirianni and Hurts? Because we've seen talented rosters in the past, not only with the Eagles but other teams, and they don't have the same level of success. So isn't it time that we give the respect to the head coach and the quarterback as being the reasons why this talented roster is having this level of success?
Hey, Bill, you do realize that we are you're listening to this show on WPEN and WPEN HD1 Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities.
I realize that.
Were you aware of that?
I was.
It's the Mike Missanelli show.
Yes.
Yes.
11:01. You're a minute late with it.
Now,
There's odds in the YouTube chat if you're going to hit it on time.
No, the odds are that you're never going to pay attention to the top of the hour. That's where the odds are.
Listen, once I get my syrup going with Sirianni, I can't stop.
I'm the smartest coach in the world.
Raising my ear in the middle of your speech, going legal ID. I press the button. I go, Bill doesn't pay attention to the legal.
Yeah,
When he's
I was
done.
on a roll, man. I was
By
on a
noon,
roll.
we'll get to it. Don't worry.
Yeah, we have these FCC requirements where we have to identify the station at exactly the top of the hour.
So look at me breaking laws, man.
No, that's I'm just saying.
Breaking laws.
Yeah, it's good that you're engaged.
But what do you think about that?
You wearing a Super Bowl Eagles?
Yeah, I'm trying to get the vibes going, man. I'm wearing the Super Bowl 52 champion.
All right, let's get to the big story where I want to continue to have you go off. The nominees for Coach of the Year
Oh God.
were revealed, and I would like you to do the honors of the Coach of the Year nominees.
Sure.
All right. I caught him off guard.
Yeah. I know one of them is Dan Campbell.
Yeah, well, Bill, go ahead.
Dan
I got
Quinn's
him.
another
Bill,
one of them.
Bill has-
Kevin O'Connell.
So here it is.
Here it is.
Yeah, you got him right. The Coach of the Year finalists for the AP Coach of the Year: Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell with the Vikings, Sean Payton in Denver, Dan Quinn in Washington, Andy Reid in Kansas City. Now, do we have any other legal IDs? Can I go off for a second,
you
please?
can talk.
All right. Here's what bothers me about this
I would
list.
say no.
Now, I am not saying that Dan Campbell should not be on this list. I'm not saying that Andy Reid should not be on this list. But how do you put Dan Campbell on the list and even Andy Reid on the list and not include Nick Sirianni? Every single preseason power ranking had the Detroit Lions in the top 3. Every single preseason power ranking had the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1. Dan Campbell had a great offensive coordinator, a great defensive coordinator, a great roster. All of the arguments you hear being used against Nick Sirianni. But what Dan Campbell didn't have to deal with was every single person locally and nationally calling for his job before the season even started. Every single person locally and nationally questioning the head coach after a 2-2 start. Dan Campbell didn't have to rely or worry about Brandon Graham going on a radio station and saying that there's a personal feud between the quarterback and the wide receiver. But what did Nick Sirianni do? He guided the ship through the choppy waters. He guided them to the number 2 seed in the NFC. How do you put these guys on the list and not include Nick Sirianni? The disrespect that this man gets is at such an all-time high, I can't take it anymore. And we're going to see how good Dan Campbell is now that he's losing all of his coaching staff. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't win another damn playoff.
All right, first of all, you're right in your rant, okay? So I will agree with your rationale behind that. But let me add a little context to it. Who were the guys? It was O'Connell, Campbell, Reid. Who else?
Sean Payton in Denver.
Payton in Denver.
Did a good job with a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
And Dan Quinn in Washington.
Quinn.
Great job by
Okay.
Dan Quinn.
Now, first of all, they should have added 6. Andy Reid gets it by reputation. He really should not be on it for this year. Even though they won all these games by the skin of their teeth, the whole bit, and I guess you can give them credit for that because they never lose. O'Connell, who had the Vikings doing what they did?
O'Connell should win.
All right, Campbell guided a roster that lost 13 guys. 13 guys, and they still got to that point before they fell on their face. There's no way he shouldn't be on that list. Payton, it's a little reputation.
Rookie quarterback.
But they exceeded their expectations at all. And Quinn totally exceeded the expectations. You can't take any of them off. So I would say this is one year where you probably had to have 6. But the bottom line is, it spells out, you're right, how the public does not respect Sirianni because of the things that he did in the past to cause that disrespect. And the only thing that's going to take him over the top, as I've said a couple of days ago, if he wins the Super Bowl. That's the only thing that's ever going to save Sirianni in the minds of certain people. And that's fair. because he made his own bed.
You make a good point, and that's why I said I'm not arguing that Dan Campbell shouldn't be on it. And you're right. You look at these guys, probably all of them should have been on it. It's just Andy Reid. That's a tough one for me.
Reputation.
It is reputation. And
Hall of Fame coach.
Well, arguably, Andy Reid could be on it every year. I mean, he's one of the best coaches in the NFL history. But coming into the season, I don't think that the Chiefs did anything that wasn't expected. You still have Patrick Mahomes.
No, you're right, but you're not going to leave Andy Reid off that list. So either you make it 6 or you go, okay, yeah, Sirianni did a good job. A, he didn't maybe do as good a job as these guys. B, we don't like him. That's the bottom line.
But again, now I'm going to go back to this, and I see it on the YouTube chat. Let's see Sirianni deal with catastrophic injuries and see how he guides the ship in reference to the fact that Dan Campbell had all those injuries. I will say it. I've said it before. I will say it again. Part of the reason why the Detroit Lions sustain the amount of injuries they do is because Dan Campbell doesn't manage his roster the way Nick Sirianni does. Dan Campbell is 100 miles an hour. We got to be physical, men. We got to hit, men.
But that has nothing to do with this criteria because how they got injured doesn't matter. What appeals to the people who are nominating these coaches is, my God, they still achieved missing all those players. So you can't take points away from them.
Sirianni deserved to be on the list. End of story.
610-632-0975. Back with your calls after this.
Join 97.5 The Fanatic and Philly Sports Trips on
11:12. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. Let's get back to the text board. We've got some Fear of Commanders texts. Let's handle that one first, Ray.
All right, sounds good. We go back to this one where they're not worried about Jalen Hurts at all. My fear is that the points that Washington put up against the Lions defense and what they did to the Eagles defense in the second half the last time the two sides played, it's fearing not being able to stop them in crunch time. Tony from PA.
Was the Lions defense as good as the Eagles? I don't know. Are the Lions, I missed something? Were the Lions defense ranked number one? They gave up 40-plus points a couple times towards the end of that season. Oh, are you kidding me?
Nah, the Lions' defense isn't comparable, but the other part of the text is the last time the Commanders and the Eagles played, Jaden Daniels threw 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns. They put up 22 points in the fourth quarter. I thought that was so fluky, though. I mean, to think that that's going to happen again. Now, one of the things that really surprised me, because I went back and looked at some of the numbers in that first matchup, Vic Fangio blitzed Jaden Daniels 54% of the time. On the season, the Eagles were only averaging 19% blitz rate. So did Vic Fangio learn something from that game? You also saw the Lions try to blitz Jaden Daniels a lot last week. The kid's good against the blitz. But aren't you taking Vic Fangio? Don't you think maybe he's learned a thing or two in the first 2 matchups against this kid? Or watching him play now for 19 games? So I'm not as worried about what you saw in the fourth quarter. And again, Mike, if we remember correctly, Jalen Hurts played 4 minutes in that game. So I know Jalen Hurts doesn't play defense, but the Commanders wouldn't even have been in a position for Jaden Daniels to lead them on a game-winning drive if Hurts is still in that game. Because Kenny Pickett, some of those, and I heard them say this on the morning show, some of those field goals are probably touchdowns with Hurts. Some of those 3-and-outs are probably a couple of first downs. It would have been a different game. That was a fluky game. I don't put a lot of stock in the fact that the Commanders beat the Eagles back in Week 16.
Yeah, now here's the other thing. Do you think that Vic Fangio and his assistants are stupid? Like, do you think that first of all, whatever they did the last time in the regular season has no bearing on a playoff game for the NFC Championship? Secondly, you think Vic Fangio is looking at that saying, okay, this is what they did, so we got to do this because our defense is better. So if we make an adjustment here to limit what they did to be successful, like why doesn't that get into the equation? Are they idiots? What do you think Vic Fangio is doing right now?
Drinking some good Italian red, as the transcript said from the Eagles.
This guy dummy? We're going to be susceptible to the same thing they did to score 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. We're not going to make any adjustments at all. We're just going to dare them to do it again.
Yeah, that's why I think I've said this all week. I'm taking Vic Fangio and the number 1 defense in the NFL over any rookie quarterback. And I get it that Jaden Daniels isn't playing like a rookie quarterback. We heard Vic Fangio say he's a rookie when it comes to his birth certificate, but not in the way he plays. I get all of that. But for that kid to go on the road 3 straight weeks and now have to come in here against the number 1 defense in the league, against Vic Fangio. And by the way, we were talking about the AP NFL Coach of the Year finalists. Vic Fangio's up for Assistant of the Year, according to the AP. He's a finalist. Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are both up for Defensive Rookie of the Years. And how about this? Zach Baun is a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year. So let's start looking more at those facts and not just, well, Jaden Daniels, it's destiny that he gets to play in New Orleans after he played at LSU.
You know what I'm doing here? I am setting myself up for such hate if they lose this game, right? Because people are going to say, see what you did? You jinxed them. You were too confident. You weren't giving any solace to the fact that they failed in previous years. And you know what? If that happens, I'll be right here to take your heat. But I am also fostering the most logical argument possible. I have no fear whatsoever that the Eagles will lose this game. None whatsoever. Normally, I will have a little bit of fear. I have zero fear for this game. And it's the logical view because they're better than the Commanders. They're 6.5 points better than the Commanders. They're facing a rookie quarterback who, might be beyond his years, but he's still a frickin' rookie. They have the number one defense in the league. They have the most dominant defensive player who's going to be facing a backup guard. And they have the best running back that maybe ever walked the face of the earth. And I'm going to sit here, I'm going to go, oh, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what the Jaden Daniels is going to do to him with a lot of me Zacchaeus on the field being a key member of their offense. I'm going to be like, I'm supposed to sit here like an idiot and be afraid of that because Jake alone beat the Eagles 21 years ago.
And I'm right there with you. But are we getting a ton of confidence right now from our YouTube chat? There's some.
You know what? I don't care anymore.
From our text board.
I've said my piece. I don't care if we're going to get the confidence. If you want to wallow in that kind of nonsense, then wallow. If you want to guard against an Eagle loss and that protects you from Sunday, then do it.
Now, I want the
done.
confidence.
I'm trying to convert people. I can't do it.
Please, bring the confidence. 610-632-0975. I need it. Because here's what I keep reading, Mike.
No, bring the unconfidence. This is what this is about. Because I want to explore into it. I want to tap into that because I'm going to try to overpower you with logic.
But here's what I keep reading, stuff like this. So, Raging Truth on YouTube. The Lions were 9.5 points better than the Commanders, and they lost. Do you realize how fluky that was? That they gave up 520 yards of offense to the Detroit Lions, and they won that game because they created 5 takeaways. Now, maybe I'll come back to bite. This will come back to bite me. There is no chance in hell that the Philadelphia Eagles turned the ball over 5 times on Sunday. Zero.
But see, even Lions fans, as heavy a favorite as they were, they had something in them that said, we still are missing a lot of players, man. We have weathered that storm. There was always that little thing that the Lions had that was vulnerable. The Eagles don't have that. They don't have that. This is what I'm saying. You can't compare stuff to stuff. Like, you have to look at what it is at the time. Like, you can't say because the Lions got beat by them and they were a big favorite that has anything to do with the Eagles game, because then you're going into the metaphysical. And metaphysical doesn't win football games.
No, it does not. Let me give. I'm trying to make people confident. Let me give you another fluke from the Commanders-Lions game that I can't see happening against the Eagles. The Commanders were a perfect 4 for 4 in the red zone. The Philadelphia Eagles had a top 5 red zone defense this year. And in the playoffs, they held the Packers to 1 of 3. They held the Rams to 2 for 5 in the red zone. So think about the flukes that would have to happen. The Eagles have to turn the ball over 5 damn times, and they'd have to let the Commanders go a perfect 100% in the red zone. Look at the facts. Don't look at the past pain that you have as a Philadelphia fan. Look at the facts. You should be confident. Eagles are going to the Super Bowl, Mike.
610-632-0975. Don't forget the News at Noon is coming up. We got some beauties in the News at Noon. Paul George, Andre Drummond on Podcast P. That's coming up at noon. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Health of the Birds. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We got our first look at the health of a number of Eagles players with the Wednesday injury report, which was an estimation due to the fact they went through a walkthrough instead of a full practice yesterday. Jalen Hurts' knee is the primary point of concern with that report, and he addressed his status yesterday when he met with the media.
Yeah, it's just been progressing, taking it a day at a time. Was able to participate today and be involved in stuff, so just taking it a day at a time.
Feel like you're still on track to play Sunday?
Yeah.
Listed as limited, but still on track to play Sunday. Good news for Hurts. Hurts, though, isn't the only banged-up bird. Quinyon Mitchell was limited due to his shoulder. He is expected to play on Sunday. Both Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens were listed as did not practice. Again, it was an estimation because it was just a walkthrough, not a full practice. The Eagles host the Commanders for the NFC Championship game Sunday at 3 o'clock. You can listen to the Westwood One broadcast the game starting at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere in Philly sports, the Flyers are on the road against the Rangers tonight at 7 o'clock. You can listen to the game right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by WorldwideStereo.com. Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program makes it easier to upgrade your home audio system. Find out what your old gear is worth for the best trade-in allowance on new equipment by completing the online form or stop-in store. WorldwideStereo.com. I'm Ray Dunn, reminding you that live coverage of Eagles Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday afternoon at 2 right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
John Kincade.
Sirianni say he was going to have another media thing today? Did they added another media?
Yeah, we got it today.
125.
Oh,
it's late.
125.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
later than normal. 125 today.
All right. We'll hear what he has to say.
What time do you think he's going to come on?
I don't like tardiness.
155, as we're saying our goodbyes on our
Yeah. You know what?
closing argument.
Actually, I'm going to say he's going to be punctual today because he may not care about the local media normally from week to week, but now there's going to be probably a lot more national people there, right?
Are they
You
going
would
to
think.
ask him about not being a nominee, Coach of the Year?
Oh, I hope they do. I hope they do. But really, I mean, you even admitted it. You wouldn't remove anybody from the list that made it, but you felt like Sirianni should have been nominated.
I would remove Reed, but I can't. You can't. He's like a Hall of Fame status coach now. He's going to get notice every year as long as his team is viable. But we all knew they were going to be viable. It wasn't a surprise what they've done. But you can't. And you know, Sean Payton had this love affair with how great a coach he is, and he did overachieve with that team. So you can't take him off. Quinn, obviously, you can't take off. Dan Campbell, who you would have taken off, you can't take off. And O'Connell.
I went back.
Should have been a tie. And Sirianni should have got some notice.
Wow, I went back and looked. I couldn't remember if in 2022 if he was nominated for Coach of the Year. And he was, but it's interesting.
There you go.
Two other names on the list. Jaguars coach Doug Peterson was nominated.
We'll see him no more.
No, we won't.
Oh, won't see him no more.
That's right.
The New York Giants' Brian Dable was nominated
Oh, my
that
God.
season.
That was before the weight loss.
And then Shanahan and McDermott. Who won that year? Was it Dable that won?
Dable, pretty sure won that year.
Yeah, maybe it's better he's not
Dable
nominated.
won, went on a diet, became a lousy coach, and should have gotten fired.
Wow, don't get me started on the Giants.
Stop it.
He
Stop
started,
it.
He started eating Kind bars and protein shakes, and he became a worse coach.
Can we also grow up with the whole Sean Payton Coach of the Year thing this year?
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Who did they beat?
He aggravates me. that guy.
Well, look, a rookie quarterback. They exceeded expectations.
They did. They did.
Nobody expected them to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
All right,
No, that's
congrats.
That's
You're
legit.
handed the Raiders twice a year, and you got the Chiefs in Week 18.
Well,
like
he makes a good point.
that's the difference between
Yeah.
7 and 10 and 10 and 7.
Wait a second. Bill's hate to Dan Campbell is equivalent to Ray's
I'm
hate to Sean
Arguing for you so your guy gets a Coach of the Year nomination. Can you shut up and let me help you for a second?
He just told me to shut up.
He did.
By the way, did you see Ray made it to the airport in time the other day to get his Ask Me Anything beer?
I saw
it's
the
great.
20-ounce, what was it? The,
Blue Moon he
the
had.
Blue
No, it
Moon.
was
Just a
Trogs something. It was just in a
They
Blue
just
Moon
put it-
glass.
Well, that's a
Yeah.
violation. Can't put that in a Blue Moon
Oh,
glass.
yeah. Please take this beer away from me and
Hold
put it in the
a
right
second. You
glass.
didn't balk at that? They
No.
serve you an IPA in a Blue Moon glass, and you take a photo of it?
Did you see how big the glass was? Am I going to fight that?
It's 20-plus ounces. I get it. But still.
Yeah, you're doing free advertising
You-
for Blue
you
Moon. You're not
are.
even drinking it.
All right. If Blue Moon wants to send me something for the
at
advertising, I'll
least
take it too.
You should have turned around and without the label.
Yeah, you should have spun the glass. Right?
Yes, that's what I should have done. I care so much about the optics of the picture.
Oh, we care. Because, we're going to give you crap about it.
Yeah, I didn't think ever in my life I would get crap for that.
All the crap that we would give you, first and foremost.
Not only that. when
No,
you're
I'm
this-
dancing like nobody's
We're
watching.
already giving you crap for sitting down and having to show that you're a big boy by drinking a beer.
Well, you're a
Much less a
huge-
Blue Moon now.
Yeah, and when you're a huge play-by-play guy, people are going to go back when you're doing commercials for IPAs and be like, look at this guy. He's a fraud. He drinks Blue Moon at the airport.
No, or they're going to go, look, he's a drunk.
Or that.
He has to post a beer every time he's got having a beer. All right.
I don't think you want me to do that.
It's good in the text board. Good. Well, we have Simsies.
Yes.
Top button Chris is making another appearance on the show here. Go ahead.
If you take away 5 or 6 games for Reed and McNabb, they win a couple Super Bowls, and they're the greatest coach QB duo of all time.
It's a good point right there.
There you go. All right. Hertz, Sirianni versus McNabb. Reed text.
Frank from Mount Laurel. If Sirianni and Jalen had the early 2000s talent that Reed and McNabb had, Sirianni doesn't make it 4 years. McNabb is better at every aspect of the quarterback position than Hurts, and I shouldn't even have to talk about Sirianni versus Reed.
All right. Well, first of all, let me answer this one. Because we weren't arguing whether or not Andy Reid is a better coach than Nick Sirianni. The question that was posed was who would go down as the better coach in franchise history, and Andy Reid, unfortunately, never won a Super Bowl. I said that he's got to win it. But if Sirianni wins the Super Bowl, Mike, this season, how could we not say that he's been a better coach in franchise history than Reid? It means he would have been to more Super Bowls than Reid and won one. I know Reid's got a better pedigree and a better record, and he's done more success in Kansas City. But as far as this franchise, that's like saying that Bill Belichick's the best coach in Jets history. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but you understand the point.
Yes. I understand your point.
Yeah.
We do have lots of texts. We'll get to them eventually. But I got to get this off my chest here. How do you feel about the Eagles marketing people selling snow from the Rams game packed with dry ice in a container like a Ben & Jerry's ice cream container?
I thought it was ridiculous. And at first when I saw it.
For $50.
Yeah, $50. They took snow off the ground, put it in a Ben & Jerry's container, and they ship it to you with dry ice.
And they beat the Rams. It was the first game of the play. Like, it wasn't the NFC title game.
Now, I didn't see this anywhere because I was trying to find it. I thought, okay, well, maybe all proceeds go to their autism foundation. But I didn't see any of that. Am I wrong in that? This was purely...
No, I think it's straight capitalism on this one.
Yeah, straight capitalism. We're gonna box snow. Unbelievable. They sold out.
It's like people. You got to explain to me why you would put $50 that could go to so many better things to buy snow from a game that was just kind of just a regular game. It wasn't the Super Bowl. It was like it wasn't that monumental.
If anyone bought it,
playoff game.
If anyone bought it, please call.
We need to know.
Yeah, I want to know what
do something like that. And listen. Here's the thing. They dangle a carrot out there that's irresistible to a lot of fans, and that's why I blame them, because a lot of people can't help themselves. And it's to me, it's just it's like throwing a box of cigarettes into somebody who quit smoking.
Well, I always wonder too. Like we say, people can't help themselves when they sell merchandise that's like divisional champ or NFC East champ. Like, why would you buy the NFC East championship? Because now if the Eagles go and they win the NFC conference championship, I guess you're buying that too. It's just, I guess people just love collecting everything.
Listen, piece of the Spectrum floor, I get it. Turf from a field at Veteran Stadium, all right, I get it. This?
Well, the next time it snows, the Fanatics got a special offer for everybody, because what we're going to do is we're going to ship you yellow snow from Mike and me.
No, that's repulsive. My God. No, I'll tell you what we're going to do. Like this woman who used to do this. You remember the woman who passed gas in a ball jar?
Oh, yeah.
And
people would buy it.
And sold it? I mean,
people will buy anything.
Seriously. 610-632-0975. We'll get back to the text board. We got Sirianni coming up a little later. We got the news at noon coming up a little later. And I still need to tap into your fear. Is it fair that Eagle fans let scars seep into their feeling about this particular game when this team and this organization have given you the best possible scenario on a platter, and you're still worried about the scars? I just want to get into it with people. Mike Missanelli Show continues. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5. The Fanatic. That's what I thought about. It's like put a box of cigarettes in front of a smoker or quit. And I started thinking about that scene in Goodfellas where they're selling cigarettes out of the back of the truck. Like the young Henry Hill and the young Tommy.
Yeah.
What brand? Two brands were they selling?
I don't remember. I remember the scene, but I don't remember the cigarettes.
What do you need? 2 Luckies.
Lucky Strikes?
Yeah, 2 Luckies. What do you need? 2 Pound Miles. All right, 2 Pound Miles, 2 Luckies. and then the cops shut him down. And he goes, no. Henry Hill goes, no, it's all right. It's all right. Oh, what? Well, you got permission from your mother? You don't remember these scenes, man.
I don't remember it.
Lucky Strikes and Pound Miles they were selling.
Ray, did you watch True Romance yet?
No.
Of course not. I gotta watch it.
I got a bone to pick with you anyway, Mikey. Man.
What? What's the problem?
Well, you remember you and I were going at it the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before about how inappropriate what Patrick Mahomes did with the flop on the sidelines was.
Yeah, that's not inappropriate at all. It's gamesmanship.
Well, Patrick Mahomes himself has come out and I would say the only one I felt like I probably did too much was that one on the sidelines where I didn't get the flag. I understood it immediately and know that I probably shouldn't have done that. Patrick Mahomes.
He knows that people are talking about it.
Because it was Bush League, man.
And he wants to be popular, so he says the right thing. It's gamesmanship.
No.
It's all it is. You're slowing down to make sure somebody hits you and to draw a flag. There's nothing wrong with trying to draw a flag that benefits your team.
Absurd.
It's not absurd.
Absolutely absurd.
It's not. Now, it's up to the official. He puts it in the hands of the official. The official didn't react to it. So all's good. Like, why do we have to keep worrying about him tainting the game? He tried to get away with something that would benefit his team for 15 more yards. He didn't get away with it. So what? What's the big deal? I don't understand these causes that you have.
Because I said it the other day. When the NFL goes out of their way to protect the quarterback position, you shouldn't then abuse that protection. I'm trying to think of an example in the real world, but you wouldn't, they're doing things to protect you. And now you're embarrassing the sport by going out of your way to try to get those calls.
You didn't get a call. You didn't embarrass anything. You tried it, it didn't work. What are you embarrassing?
It's an embarrassment. Right? You were embarrassed.
I'm embarrassed.
Oh, no, I wasn't embarrassed.
I wish you had, these causes that would, benefit people. I'm going out on the picket line because these workers are not getting paid enough. And minimum wage is there. I care about the minimum wage not being good.
Well, I do think that is the lawyer in me, though, because when you would take a case, and I was a trial attorney, and you get in front of a jury, you got to firmly believe in what you're saying. They can see through it if you're BSing. So I get these causes, and I can't back down on
Really? And you've never BS'd in a courtroom? You've never taken advantage of idiots that are on a jury that you can con?
I've never had an idiot on a jury. They were always very smart, intelligent jurors.
I would say no.
Oh, my God.
That was not believable from you.
A lawyer talking about fleecing somebody.
Hey.
Oh, my God, dude.
I was never like that. The typical lawyer wasn't me.
Yeah, I see this juror number 3. He's a little weaker. They play into him.
Well, picking the jury was always fun.
Voir dire?
Yes.
All right, let's go back to the text board. Lots of text right today. We're overflowing with text, but not phone calls. So the people are taking the time to text, but not to they're afraid to discuss this issue with me on why you're letting scars seep into their feeling. So go ahead, Ray.
All right, we'll start with an interesting comparison that I would love to get your perspective on. Sean from Perksy saying Sirianni is the Terry Francona of the 2000s with the Red Sox. So post-Philly Terry Francona. Do you see any similarities in the way you draw those two coaches?
Well, meaning that Terry Francona was wildly successful? Is that supposed to be a compliment?
I think it's supposed to be a compliment.
Wait.
All right. Well,
see, I'm reading it as Francona wasn't a good manager. He was carried by talent, and so was Sirianni. That's the way I'm thinking this guy's trying to.
Terry Francona was a good manager.
I agree.
Yeah, he took him over the top. So I mean, that's it. Okay, I'm okay with that. You know that.
I don't get it.
That I just judge success. if a coach is generating success, this guy is doing something right. That's the way I look at Sirianni. Not that I'm overly enamored with him, because there are some things that I shake my head and go, but he's winning, so I'm good.
Speaking to success, Chris in Tampa wanted to jump in on the quarterback head coaching duos, starting his text with something that'll always get my attention. Bill makes 0 sense. Jalen wins will be 2-0 in NFC title games with him compared to Donovan's 1-3. Donovan lost 1 Super Bowl. Jalen will be in 2. Not to mention, when in the Super Bowl, Jalen was incredible. McNabb was terrible. Make it make sense, Bill. So Chris in Tampa making the argument for the Hurts-Sirianni dynamic duo, making it more for Hurts, though.
Yeah, and Mike said he was shocked that I wouldn't say that Sirianni Hurts would be the best duo just by getting there. I don't know, I'm going off of my gut feeling, and I get it. You're right, 2-0 in the NFC Championship game versus 1-3. It's just, if he got to the Super Bowl and he lost, could we really anoint him and Sirianni as the best? Maybe I'm wrong on this. It's just my gut tells me they would have to win it. They would have to win it to surpass those guys. Not saying that they have to necessarily win it in their career to surpass those guys, but they'd have to do it for a lot longer. Reed was the coach for 14 years, man.
Yeah.
But if he gets there and he wins, 2 Super Bowl appearances in 3 years with a victory, I think Sirianni and Hurts go down as the best QB quarterback head coach duo.
All right, but
but you give them, even if they win on Sunday, you're putting them there.
Yeah, well, I'm looking at the percent. Like he would have now been to 2 Super Bowls within a short period of time, and his winning percentage was way better. And I know Andy Reid had it stretched out, but Andy Reid had some mediocre seasons to pull that down. So if we have to wait the next 5 years, Sirianni has a couple mediocre seasons to pull that down, then I think that's the way you can evaluate it. All right, 610-632-0975. The news at noon is coming up. And also, I have some not views, but I want to point out some things that happened at the Trump inauguration. That was the other day. Don't worry, it's not going to be political. I'm just pointing out some things that happened, including the appearance of the white brassiere.
Oh, I saw that. Little Jeff Bezos action.
Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Health of the Birds. I'm Ray Dunn. This Fanatic Sports Update is brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bowe and Tyrone at 97.5 The Fanatic's official Birds playoff watch party at Wicked Wolf on Chestnut Street in Center City Sunday at 2:30. Presented by Corona, and enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. We got our first look at the Eagles' health, and looking at that through a number of different ways on the Wednesday injury report, which was an estimation due to the fact they went through a walkthrough, not a full practice. Jalen Hurts' knee, the primary point of concern. He addressed his status after being listed as limited.
It's just been progressing, taking it a day at a time. Was able to participate today and be involved in stuff, so just taking it a day at a time.
Feel like you're still on track to play Sunday?
Yeah.
Still on track to play Sunday, and we are to believe that cornerback Quinyon Mitchell is as well, and he was also listed as limited due to his shoulder, which he suffered in the Rams win. Both Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens were listed as did not practice on the Wednesday injury report. Eagles host the Commanders for the NFC Championship game Sunday at 3 o'clock. You can listen to the Westwood One broadcast of the game starting at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere in Philly sports, Flyers on the road against the Rangers tonight at 7. You can listen to the game live right here on The Fanatic. This update is also brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, free battery testing, free battery charging, replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. I'm Ray Dunn. Remind that live coverage of the Eagles Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
I have so many things to talk about today, and I'm gonna save them until after the news at noon because that's our chunk of the show where we kind of venture off into other stuff.
All right, what do we
So
got?
I'll talk about the Brazier a little later. I know people go, "What's he going to say about the Brazier?"
Oh, yeah.
Well, that would be a Seinfeld episode, frankly.
Did you see even
But you wouldn't know about that. Ray would.
even Zuckerberg couldn't help but look.
They caught him with a side eye.
Yeah.
Into the bosom.
I think it was
Side eye's generous. That was a full eye.
Well, Antonio Brown is insane, but sometimes he has some funny tweets, and he shared the video and said this is the most normal thing he's ever done. Zuckerberg taking a peek.
So, Antonio Brown, the great intellectual. Okay. Isaac, back to the text board. We have a scared texter. I want to deal with the scared texter, and I want to balance that with our call from Steve from Trap. So what do we got with the scared texter? Let's hear it.
All right, Gina from Southwest Florida saying that.
Gina? Oh, come on, Gina. All right, go ahead.
Gina sent this in December 27th and is resending it now. Sorry, but for some reason, the Commanders have our number. Always a weird game. Don't want to see them in the playoffs. Gina does say feeling a little bit more confident today than that text, but still holding firm to that concern back in December.
Where do they have our number? Now, I've seen splits happen during a regular season in the division, which happens all the time. Where do the Commanders have, quote, our number?
Yeah, well, I guess in 2022, they handed the Eagles their first loss after the 10-0 start. Was it 10-0? Mm-hmm. I can't remember what.
And what year is this?
And then last year, Eagles almost blew it in that overtime game. Yeah. But, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about it. Look.
We got the game I was doing a post-game show on the deck of the
Correct. Do you remember? We were getting ready to do the post-game show.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
that's right.
They let them tie it.
You were there also.
Yeah, we were on the deck of the USS New Jersey.
Right.
One of the most decorated warships in United States naval history.
Yeah. I remember getting paid after that show.
I remember being nervous because the TV was out in the sun, and it goes to overtime, and the TV was flashing overheating. I'm like, we're not going to be able to see the end of the game.
That's right. It was overheating.
Yeah.
All right.
But no, they don't have our number.
They don't have your number. You're going to lose to them in the regular season occasionally because it's a division game, and you can't be up for every game during the regular season. In this context, I don't know. Maybe it's me. I just don't see any fear at all. I think this is a double-digit win.
I'm with you, man. But now, Ray made a good point in the show sheet, though, he sent out. Before the playoffs started, including me and a majority of fans, we wanted the Commanders in the first round. We wanted the Commanders over the Green Bay Packers.
Yes.
But now, I guess a lot of people, they saw the Commanders beat the Lions, and it's, oh, my God, the Washington Commanders. I still think it's a good matchup.
They had a really good overachieving season. I don't believe that they are capable of beating a better team in an NFC title game at home. They just don't have the team the Eagles have. Maybe down the road they will. Not now. They've done a nice little job. That's the way I say it. Nice job. Dan Quinn, you did a nice job. You found a gem at quarterback. And you're okay and all over the field. But you're not great, and you're not certainly as good as the Eagles are in this spot.
And you're not stopping Saquon.
That's right. You are listening to the Mike Missanelli Show on WPEN and WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, a Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio, powering possibilities.
A lot of people lost money in the YouTube chat. It was minus 120. It'd be exactly 12 o'clock. You did it a little early.
Yeah, I did. However, as I go to our next caller, Stephen Trapp, it's 12 o'clock. Steve, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up?
Mike, thanks for having me on. And thank you for being the voice of reason for decades in Philadelphia. Sometimes the truth, it's hard to hear because you know where our hearts are. They bleed green and, every other color for our teams. But I came to see you. You were doing a remote the Friday night before the Eagles played Minnesota. And I told you, there's no way of rookie quarterbacks coming to Philadelphia, winning in Philadelphia, and going home to play in the Super Bowl. And we all know what happened. And who would not have said, yes, I'll sign up to play Washington at home for a chance to go to the Super Bowl? Isn't Jalen Hurts a better quarterback than Nick Foles overall in his career? God bless Nick Foles. He did what he had to do when he was given the opportunity. But overall, looking at everything, they're just a better team. They're a 6-point favorite.
They really are. And if they lose the game, Steve, we will all be nuts. I get it.
Yeah,
and I'm prepared for that because, we love sharpening the knife when we do sports talk radio, right? But and you're right. See, I'm glad that you said that I'm the voice of reason. And I'm a man of the voice of reason because that's how I have cultivated my whole career, Bill. I say what I feel honestly. If they're good, they're good. If they're bad, I'm going to rip them. And this team is good, and they've given you what you've needed as a fan base.
We could be watching Washington play, Detroit, or we could be watching two other teams this Sunday. Instead, they're playing at home. As the favorite to go to the Super Bowl, and I don't know how, but all of a sudden, I guess because they are a better team. The numbers don't lie. When Vegas and all the odds makers are saying they're the Super Bowl favorite after, what happened in the last couple of weeks of the playoffs, I guess the fear with Washington, we wanted Washington in week one and maybe not Green Bay, maybe because of what Washington did in Detroit. But I think everybody knew sooner or later Detroit's defense was going to cost them, and it did.
I get it. Listen, man, Steve, for the Eagles to lose this game, something monumental would have to happen, like a major injury to the quarterback. The quarterback would have to go down. Well,
that's what happened in the last game.
Really. So, but we're not talking about what could possibly happen that's wrong. When you evaluate a game, you go, okay, let's match this team against this team, and you tell me where the other team, who's not the favorite, would have a chance to win, except for some magic potion of the sky falling in Philadelphia. Bill, I got to say something here. Never has there been more of a voice of reason than me, which is when I read, I hardly agree with Mike Missanelli. What do you mean? All I do is preach logic for 35 years. Even Ray will tell you. Well, Ray's only been alive for 3 years in my career. But the fact of the matter is, I've always been the voice of reason. I call it straight down the middle. When people neglect a really good team, it ticks me off. When they succumb to fears of past failures, it ticks me off. All we ask for is for the organizations to do right, the most right, by their fan base. And this Eagle team has. And I'm not that much of a fan of Howie Roseman. And I'm not that much of a fan of Nick Sirianni or Jalen Hurts. And you can go down the line, and it doesn't matter. My eyeballs see what I see.
And what you see is a Super Bowl appearance.
I can't see anything else.
Yeah. Look, I'm hopeful that we're just hearing from some of the people who are nervous, but maybe a majority of the fan base is seeing it like we're seeing it, where they're confident that this is the best team that we've seen in quite some time in Philadelphia. They're a 6.5-point favorite.
But here's the thing. I don't see how it can't be 100%. This is the thing that flummoxes me. Why can't it be when it's so declarative, when it's so logical, when it's so evident that this team is what it is? How do you succumb to crap? Crap meaning, oh my God, something bad's going to happen. That's what I do not understand about this fan base.
Yeah, that's the Negadelphia that we've tried to push back against. See, I keep going back, though, to the Phillies this season, because you and I battled a lot about the Phillies headed into the postseason. And I did not feel that being concerned about that Phillies team was a Negadelphia attitude, because they had shown us down the stretch that maybe they weren't as good of a baseball team as we thought they were when the season started. If anything, the Eagles have shown us the opposite. As the season has gone on, the Eagles have become better and better and better. They've fixed the turnover issues. They've gotten dominant on the defensive side of the football. Players like Nolan Smith have stepped up and have shown that they are true stars. So I don't feel the same way I did about the Phillies headed in, and I don't think that was Negadelphia. I felt people's concern with the Phillies was real.
It was, because baseball is intangible. Football is not. Football is tangible. Baseball is intangible, where it can be influenced by something that is completely out of your control. Like when you go into a slump, mentally you feel you can't hit. The pitcher has the command on you. It's different. It can happen in baseball, even though the Phillies put together a really good team that probably should have won the World Series. But the intangibles, so that one doesn't have anything to do with the other. Football is tangible. You put together the best defense in the league. You put together the best offensive line and the best running attack that can't be stopped. That's tangible. The only thing intangible that can happen is if somebody gets hurt. That's why baseball's different. That's why you're pleased for the All-Star the trade deadline, where it could be influenced by something that doesn't make you better than the other team, even though you are better. In this case, the Eagles are better.
They are. And anything can happen on any given Sunday. I know all that. But you're right. Going into the game, you should feel confident because the Eagles are a lot better. They've won more games. They're better on both sides of the football. There are so many factors. The only thing that has some people reluctant is the quarterback. They're saying, oh, well, Jaden Daniels, it's destiny, man. It's destiny. Take destiny.
On the other
Flush
side,
it.
It's the news at noon. Featuring podcast I hardly play, but when I play, I do give you 11 points. Podcast P is coming up. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
ESPN's Tim McManus on the best.
Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. 610-632-0975. It is, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the news at noon with Mr. Ray Dunn. Ray!
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
All righty, we'll start the news at noon with some tidbits from my favorite podcast. Podcast P. Right?
Andre Drummond, a guest.
I got
on
a
this
better name
podcast.
for the podcast before you say it.
Okay.
Podcast DNP.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Pretty catchy,
good.
right?
Pretty good.
And so he had a DNP guest on today.
Yeah.
What do you got?
All right, so the two of them getting together for this podcast. They got to pass the time somehow right now. And Drummond was asked, because he's said a number of times how he feels like he's one of the best rebounders ever. One of the podcast hosts alongside Paul asked him, all right, give me your best rebounders, your Mount Rushmore of rebounders in NBA history. Listen to the fourth name specifically.
Dennis Rodman, no question. Moses Malone, Bill Russell, and lastly, Tristan Thompson. The only reason why I picked Tristan is because I just remembered just years of battling with this dude in the pain. Used to be like a fight. He definitely has a knack for it. Somebody who has a knack, he definitely has it for sure. Dennis Rodman, obviously, his numbers speak. I mean, he won a game getting 26 rebounds and no points. That's insane in itself. He's up there, no question. And then Moses Malone, obviously, just for his skill set and the art of his rebounding, be able to tip the ball in and get his finishes.
I got to be honest with you, Ray. I think it's pretty insightful. What he just said. I really do. If you look at Tristan Thompson's rebounding numbers per minute, it is pretty phenomenal. I think you're short.
As the Mount Rushmore?
I think you're shortchanging Tristan Thompson. I think Andre Drummond might be a little insightful by putting him on there.
I think he's insightful. I don't think he'd be fourth on my Mount Rushmore of rebounders.
I don't know. I'm telling you, if you look at the numbers, I know you were expecting me to ridicule it, but I got to be honest with you. I think it's pretty insightful. He is a pretty phenomenal rebounder.
All right.
Per minute.
Per 36 minutes, all time.
Huh?
Where does he fall? Tristan.
I don't know. Tell me.
Tristan Thompson, if he were to play 36 minutes, would be 200th.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Per 36.
Oh, well, then maybe he wasn't as insightful. I do remember, that's all he does, really, is rebound.
He's not a bad rebounder. But to say he's fourth.
Who are we talking about? Who are we missing?
So I'm looking at the list here. Russell, Wilt, Andre Drummond are the top three. Hassan Whiteside is 4.
I can't put Hassan Whiteside in there.
I'm not a Hassan Whiteside guy.
Those numbers are skewed then.
Walter Dukes.
I mean, you could go with the all-time rebound leader in the sport and put him on your top 4.
Yeah, listen, I think he threw a name in there that a lot of people go, what? But he was a pretty good rebounder. Yeah, I think people don't think of Tristan Thompson because of all the nonsense and the Kardashian crap and all that stuff. But he was a pretty intense rebounder.
While we're talking Sixers, just real quick, this should be an easy guess. ESPN did their mid-season grades in the NBA. What grade do you think they gave the Sixers?
I saw that. C-?
No.
What?
What would you give the Sixers?
Oh, you know how I feel.
They gave him an F.
Oh, okay. I saw somewhere else that somebody gave him a C-.
No, they gave him an F.
Grade on a curve?
Yeah. Listen, man. You see, when I say that there's never been more of a voice of reason than me, what did I say at the beginning of this season?
I know. I hate to admit it that you were right because Ray and I were on the other side of it. I actually thought they had a shot to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
And I laid it out pretty well because I laid it out with podcast DNP I didn't even expect. And I thought that was going to let them down. And I was right on podcast DNP as well.
You were correct. All right, what's next, Ray?
All right, let's move you to football. Ben Johnson, your new head coach of the Chicago Bears, he's feeling himself right now, including his intro presser where he took no time trying to endear himself to the Chicago fan base.
I've got tremendous amount of respect for the coaches and the players in this league, having competed against them for the last 6 years. Dane Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, You're talking about two guys that are up for Coach of the Year awards as the season ends here. And to be quite frank with you, I kind of enjoyed beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
Oh. Whoa.
Whoa, takes a little shot at LaFleur.
That'll energize the Chicago fan base.
What do you think about that?
Blackboard material, but, you know.
What do you think about Lions fans being upset that their offensive coordinator went to the enemy? I don't think you could be mad.
No, he was doing a job.
They could listen to their star wide receiver, because Amon-Ra St. Brown also shared Ben Johnson his final conversation before he left for the Bears.
What do you say?
We had some banter back and forth, messing around, but he's obviously excited for the opportunity. We got our boy Caleb over there, who's talented. They got some good players over there, so they got a pretty good team. I told him, I said, for 2 times a year, Ben, we're gonna you up. He goes, you up.
I like that.
Yeah, that was
and
good.
he's in a position of strength right now because it's going to take a couple years for Ben Johnson to root in that woe-begone franchise situation. All right, what's next?
All right, last one for you. Copyright infringement down there in Washington. Jaden Daniels, as media availability, had this to say.
Been doing a real good job, and I think just as players and vets that been in his position, stuff like that, you kind of just lean on them to ask questions, and everybody says keep the main thing the main thing.
Oh,
Wow, there you go. He's rubbed off.
or was that a little subtle shot at Jalen Hurts?
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Is he playing mind games with the opposing quarterback?
I think he played it right. He patronized them, and he also said he got a lot to learn from Jalen. Blah blah blah. Played. So he comes out, plays all. If he's just this calm kid who's so poised, and he goes like off. My problem is, who's he going off with? He's going off with Zach Ertz, Terry McLaurin, Zacchaeus, like out of the backfield, the 40-year-old running back. Like what?
Look, Jaden Daniels can have a great game on Sunday, and maybe he will. He's been a very good quarterback, especially of recent. I still don't think the Commanders win. I don't see how they stop the Philadelphia Eagles rushing attack offensively, and I just don't think the Commanders put up enough points to win the game.
Exactly. And that's the whole point. Like, who's he going off? He's going off against that defense? We'll take a break. On the other side, I got my own little news at noon that involves the Trump inauguration and some sights and sounds from it. Mike Missanelli Show
not
continues
political ones.
on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Hello, the birds. I'm Ray Dunn with this Fanatic Sports Update. We got our first look at the health of a number of Eagles players with the Wednesday injury report, which was an estimation due to the fact it was a walkthrough and it was not a full practice for the birds. In that one, of course, the primary point of concern, Jalen Hurts' knee, and he addressed his status yesterday when he met with the media.
Yeah, it's just been progressing, taking it a day at a time. Was able to participate today and be involved in stuff, so just taking it a day at a time.
Feel like you're still on track to play Sunday?
Yeah.
Still on track to play, was limited on that injury report. Quinyon Mitchell also listed as limited due to his shoulder. Again, both on track to play on Sunday. Both Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens listed as did not practice on that report. Eagles host the Commanders for the NFC Championship game Sunday at 3 o'clock. You can listen to the Westwood One broadcast of the game starting at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere in Philly sports, Flyers on the road against the Rangers tonight at 7. You can listen live right here on The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. At Mercedes-Benz, there's a reason they go the extra mile from testing their vehicles to creating AI that can anticipate your needs on the road. They demand that every car is worthy of their star because it's Mercedes-Benz. I'm Ray Donner. My live coverage of Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. The 12 o'clock hour is brought to you by Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. Get 0% financing for 72 months and a $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. All right, the Trump inauguration happened on, what was that, Monday?
Correct. Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, it was Monday, and I unfortunately missed it. I was involved in so many other important things that day, such as like swiftering the dog hairs that are settled underneath my bed.
Well, we were also on the air, weren't we?
Yeah, but I did I did catch some highlights of it. So let me go over three of them. First of all, the one that's causing a little bit of a stir. Jeff Bezos, the Amazon man who owns Washington Post and all that stuff, and his fiancee, whose name is Lauren Sanchez, who I think used to be a news anchor of some sort, and now she's just kind of a glam trophy wife who's had some chisel work done. But she shows up at the inauguration with a Seinfeld look, right? Remember the character who wore the white bra underneath the sport jacket?
Yes.
You remember what her name was?
I do not remember her name. But
so her name was Sue Ellen Mischke.
Sue Ellen Mischke.
And so Lauren Sanchez was sporting the white lacy bra look.
Very interesting choice.
Underneath the sport jacket. Now, you didn't see the whole bra, but you saw certainly the top of it, enough to see the lacy part of it. And Mark Zuckerberg got caught looking at her tatas. However, is it appropriate? Was that appropriate attire for a presidential inauguration?
I would say no.
You and Donovan McNabb?
Are you asking for the McNabb fan?
Me and Donovan McNabb.
As I was saying it, I realized.
I would say no.
Yeah,
I realized what I would say.
Look,
I'm not angry that she wore it, but I mean, I wouldn't say that it's appropriate.
I'm not angry.
I wouldn't say it's an appropriate.
I'm not angry for it because I was looking too
Well.
like Zuck. But
No, impressive. You know, she's 55.
yeah, she's 55 and had 10 years chiseled off her face.
Yeah, she had a little work done.
Yeah.
I'm sure. A lot of work.
He's happy. I just asked you a simple question.
No, inappropriate attire, for an inauguration.
Or not couture, not hip?
I don't know. Ray, I mean, you're younger than I am. I mean, I think you would even look at that and say, probably not the right attire for a presidential inauguration, right?
I don't know anything about fashion, man. Yeah, it's not the thing I would recommend someone to wear to the inauguration.
Well, look, I think the way you know it was inappropriate is the fact that everyone's talking about it everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
that's why she did.
Interesting that the focus is attire and not Zuck, and it's just bulging look every 5
Look, in his defense, she's sitting right there with literally a bra out. I mean, he takes a look.
Oh, come on.
What are you supposed to do?
Not.
Then why is she wearing it?
No. There you go.
I don't know. To each his own.
In any event.
I would have snuck a peek, probably.
Okay, so that happened. So something else happened. I didn't really know this had happened. I knew that Carrie Underwood had performed at it. But I didn't know that Billy Ray Cyrus had performed.
Did he perform Achy Breaky Heart?
I don't know what he did. First of all, he looks like Rob Zombie right now.
Let me see. I'm going to look him up. I haven't
check a picture of it. Apparently, he had a meltdown. First of all, his performance was terrible, and he had a meltdown because the equipment failed. And his family, including his children, are very worried about him. They think that he's going off the deep end.
Oh, yeah, I'm reading this now. He does look bad.
Looked horrible.
You know what he needs to do? He needs to talk to Lauren Sanchez's doctor.
Well, I get Carrie Underwood. Where's Billy Ray get the call? Is that an unusual choice? Billy Ray Cyrus? What's he done in the last 20 years?
Oh, he fathered Miley.
Well, yeah, and apparently Miley's brother was ready to pull him off the stage with a cane. So anyway, that happened. And finally, I'm going to ask you this question, Bill. Trump's had many ex-wives. One of them being Marla Maples. Marla Maples was at the inauguration. Now, he kicked her out the gate, and brought in Melania, right? I mean, is it appropriate for Marla Maples to be there?
I think so.
It is?
Yeah. Do they have any kids together?
Yeah, they got one.
Yeah. I think it's acceptable. She's proud of her friend. Maybe they're friends now. Maybe you could be friendly with her.
Who's the kid that she has with? What kid is hers? Oh, it's a blonde girl, I think.
Tiffany.
Yeah, it's Tiffany.
Yeah, Donald and Marla separated in 97.
Yeah, so Marla being there, like, that was a divorce. He kicked her out the gate.
Yeah, but it's been 25 years now, so since they've been divorced, even longer since they've been separated. I mean, look, you can have a good relationship.
You're a very tolerant man. I don't know if it was. I don't think it would be appropriate, but it's the next wife. Get out. You're out now.
I don't know. You got an opportunity to go to a presidential inauguration.
Opportunity. What are you sharing in somebody you got divorced from?
They could still be friends. Look, things are different when you're.
All right.
When you're like those big of celebrities, I think. I mean, look, Demi Moore and Bruce Willis are still friends.
To me.
There is such a mind block with some names. It's really fun to watch. I know it's a Philadelphian thing. It happens to me too.
Yeah.
But it's really incredible to see it happen in live time to you.
Yeah, it happens to me a lot.
I'm not perfect. I'm not claiming perfection on my own pronunciation. It's funny to see.
Three things that I wanted to talk about. It was the Lawrence Sanchez with the Suella Mishki look. Billy Ray Cyrus getting invited somehow to perform and having a meltdown, and Marla showing up. That's all. Three things that stood out to me.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to watch it either, but
you didn't watch it.
But we were here. Wasn't it going on when we were here?
That seems about right.
Watch a replay or something. My God,
dude, I got a 5-day-old.
I told you my Marla Maples story with Trump, right? Tell you that story. I got a Marla Maples story. He was married to her at the time. I was covering the Arizona-Villanova game at the McHale Center in Tucson. He's at the game. This is a long time ago now. So what was he in? Was it probably 1989 or 90? What was he? He was just a businessman at that time, right?
Yeah.
He didn't even have a TV show.
Yeah, I don't even think he had the TV
But he
show.
was like, he was at the game, and it was a big, he had entourage surrounding him, and he's married to Marla Maples. And he's got center court seats at this Villanova, Arizona game. So he decides that there were like, there were like 9 minutes left in the game. He's had enough. Or maybe 12. Somewhere 12 minutes later. He's had enough. He's seen enough of the game. So during a timeout, and Lute Olson is the coach of Arizona, and Lute's got his team, because Villanova's pressing. It's a tough game for Arizona. So Lute's giving like these crazy instructions in the huddle, and here at the same time, Trump decides to leave. But Trump, instead of going backwards to where the concourse things are, goes forward and walks onto the court for his exit with his entourage and Marla. And so he's on the court, and he's walking out, and he decides to stop at the Arizona huddle. And he walks into the Arizona huddle, and he gives Lute the okay sign. He just walks in. Lute also turned around and goes, what?
Maybe he was giving him a play suggestion.
But anyway, that's my Marla Maples story.
I didn't know. You told me the other day that Trump actually called into your show, too.
Trump did call into my show years ago when we had our celebrity call-in show where we solicited the biggest celebrity that a caller could get a hold of to actually call into the show.
And my understanding is even though Trump called in, he wasn't even the biggest celebrity that called in that day.
He lost.
Yeah, that's wild.
So I think that year Diddy won, which meant we had two felons call into the show as celebrities.
But I don't know what's more surprising, that they called or that the prize that you were giving away was season tickets to the Eagles.
Eagles season tickets. And let me tell you, the people that the listeners got to call. Now, you can't do this a lot because it's a pain in the ass. But Twitter had just started, so they were connecting with these celebrities through Twitter, saying, "Hey, I'm just a regular guy, and I get a chance to see my favorite team, Eagles season tickets. Could you just call this number and call in on this celebrity contest, and I'll get credit for it, and I'll win the tickets?" So one of the first guys we have is Bubba Watson, calls from the golf course after a round. Bubba calls in. Then it was Anne Hathaway calls in. And then it was the Biebs. Justin Bieber calls in.
It's wild, Ray.
Yeah, it is wild. I'm thinking about my struggles right now going through publicists.
I know. Now we reach out to guests. It's like there's a million options for them.
I got to be quick on my feet because I don't know who's calling, right?
You don't know if they're really them.
I have no idea. I'm not. So I got to vet them. I was one in the air, but I also have to come up with conversational questions on the fly for him, right? So Beebs calls in, and first of all, I vet him. It's definitely Bieber. The first thing I ask him, he was delayed. He was dating Selena at the time. Remember that? Remember that? He had Selena with the big romance with Selena.
Yes.
And first thing I say to him, I go, Beefs, let me ask you this question. You're going out with Selena. What was your pickup line?
Did he drop one?
I forget what he said, but I put him off guard like right away. I go, dude, that's big time. What was the line you had to pick? What was the first thing you said to her to pick her up?
Wait, who was producing then? Tyrone or Jason?
That was John Marks.
Oh, Marks was your producer back then.
Way back in the day.
Wow.
610-632-0975. We're back after this.
Tyrone Johnson.
How about we look at the things that the
1240, Mike Missanelli show. We were talking about past scars that prevent the Eagle fan base from buying into the confidence of them being the better team and winning the NFC title game to go to the Super Bowl. One of the things we talked about. Did we have there a malfunction on the music?
No, Ray and I ran to get coffee.
Oh, you guys were out of.
We underestimated how long it was going to take, so Mike, he couldn't put the music down while you were talking. We got to do something about this. We like sprinted too.
So both of you went down. Normally, you both don't go down. Ray, you getting a cup of coffee?
Yeah.
Well, you got to remember.
I've never seen Ray get a cup of coffee.
He doesn't get his free coffee in the morning anymore.
Oh, that's
so
right, because they closed down that shop down there.
So
that, and we have our company mandated time for the two of us to get along and try and build our relationship the way Sirianni and Hurts
did. You guys
did.
bond on that hallway romp?
I saw somebody tweet going back, and I forgot to bring this up, and it said something like, "It's so hard to listen to Bill and Ray when they obviously don't like each other." What are you talking about?
I agree.
Obviously,
it's
they
very
don't like
difficult
each
for me
other.
to listen to Bill knowing
Bill
that I
likes
don't like
Ray.
him.
I think Ray loathes Bill.
It's only a one-way street. I'm like a puppy dog providing unconditional love.
Exactly. Okay, so one of the things you talk about with this fear that creeps in was replicated in a story today in the Inquirer that 21 years ago, McNabb and the Eagles won a playoff game where they battled back from a 14-0 deficit. They eventually tied the score on a last-second field goal by David Akers after the miracle 4th and 26 completion to Freddie Mitchell. And then everybody goes, "Oh, man, see, that's fate. That's destiny. That means he's going to win the whole thing." And then, to boot, Jake Delhomme and the Carolina Panthers upset the St. Louis Rams as 7-point underdogs, the greatest show on turf era Rams. And so Eagle fans go, "Wow, we got an easy game of it in the NFC title game at home. We're heavily favored against the Carolina Panthers." And what happened? They lost. Now people go, "See, Mike, it can happen." But see, this team that the Eagles present in 2025 does not have any flimsy parts as much as those past teams did that lost in the NFC title games 3 times. And so this is where it doesn't make sense to me.
The 2024 Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we can debate whether or not they're the best team in franchise history. We've had that conversation. They're certainly a better team than the 2003 Philadelphia Eagles. I don't even think it's close. When you look up and down the rosters, it's not even close. But when we talk about destiny, this is why I say I throw destiny out the window. Not only that game following the 4th and 26. Do you remember the Jeff Garcia year? I thought the Eagles were a team of destiny with Jeff Garcia back in 2006. Ray, were you old enough to remember the Jeff Garcia run?
Yes, but barely.
I thought it was the year. I'm like, this is it. He's going to lead us. You ever see there's that video that always goes viral every year in the playoffs where that drunk guy's like, "Jeff Garcia's our baby."
I'm pretty sure I follow him on Twitter. Yeah. Larry, I think is his name. The guy that, yeah.
Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, I thought they were a team of destiny. But then they went into New Orleans, I think, and lost, if I'm not mistaken. And Andy Reid made a bad decision to punt.
I remember that because I said if Nick Foles pulls this off, it's time to move forward with Nick Foles.
Well, no, you're talking about when they went into New Orleans and lost with Foles on the interception that Alshon Jeffrey dropped.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking about the Jeff Garcia year. If I'm not mistaken, they also went into New Orleans in the playoffs. Yeah, I just pulled it up.
Yeah, okay.
They lost 27-24, and Andy Reid made the decision to punt, and the Eagles never got the damn ball back. They could have gone for it on a 4th down. Man, I'm reliving this in my head.
Yeah, see, that's one time that I didn't pay attention to what you were saying.
Well, that happens a lot.
I was involved in something, looking at something else.
That happens a lot.
Because you mentioned Jeff Garcia, and I come up with Nick Foles, and it's 2 different quarterbacks. So I've obviously listened to one thing Bill just said.
Yeah, you're not listening to me at all.
Right. So I apologize for that.
You see what I deal with here? Ray hates me. You don't listen to me.
Dan Quinn is 3-0 in NFC Championship games as a head coach and a DC. What does that matter? What does that why does that have any relevance to this particular game? I know people go back and they find things. Well, Dan Quinn is this. That doesn't mean Dan Quinn's going to be this in this game.
You know who else is undefeated in conference championship
Who's that?
games? Nick Sirianni.
Hell yeah. I'm the smartest coach in the world.
There you go.
Walked right into that one.
And we're going to hear from him at 125. All right, let's go to Ish in Levittown. Oh, Ish is back with us. We haven't heard from Ish for a while, and so I'm really looking forward to this. Ish, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Ish?
Hey, Mike, how are you?
What's going on, Ish?
Hey, I've been listening to you for a while, and
How long, Ish? How long have you been listening?
For about 11 years, about.
That's it. I've been on for 30 years.
How old are you, Ish? Out of curiosity.
I'm not that old. I'm in my 30s, but I'm not that old.
All right, 11. Okay, all right.
About 11 to 12.
Okay.
Since Tyrone was your producer, then going back to the one I liked, Taki.
Oh, Martinez, Jason Martinez.
Yeah, we always used to call in and ask for him to rip off the captain, the C.
Yes.
Off of
Yeah.
Peru's jersey.
Yeah.
But yeah, I still I like know your voice, and like I feel like you still don't have the conviction of Nick Sirianni. When Bill was talking about the coach of the year, I don't maybe I'm just freelancing it, but I feel like you still don't believe in Nick Sirianni. And I believe what Bill said is true. I believe Nick Sirianni deserves to be coach of the year. Why not? The team is 14-3. They're going to the NFC title game, so why are they holding this against them?
First of all, I think you heard me say that he should have been added to that list. This is one year that he should have put 6 on there. If not, then take Andy Reid off and put Sirianni on. I believe he deserved to be in contention. You raised an interesting point because I have my eyes wide open on Nick Sirianni. Actually, I have my eyes almost wide open. Like my lid goes to like 3/4. With Nick Sirianni. So if he wins the Super Bowl, my eyelid goes way up like that, right?
It's like Clockwork Orange eyes.
Exactly. But see, there are things that hold me back on him, except the fact that their performance says everything. So I've got no reason to doubt him at this point.
Okay, yeah, just I don't know why. Just like you're just like walking on the edge, and I don't know. I just listened to you for a while, and I just noticed that.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. You probably get the right read. I accept him with open arms, but the arms don't close all the way around his bosom.
Exactly. Yeah, that's right. Hey, Mike, one more thing. What did you think about Elon Musk? Did you listen to that his speech?
No.
Okay. All right.
All right. You got. Yeah. No. Let's go to Joe and Fox Chase. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Joe.
Hey, Mike. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Can't wait for the game. Before I can even get to that, I just wanted to give my congratulations out to Bill and his newborn. It's a beautiful thing.
Oh, thank you, Joe. I appreciate it, man.
Here's the thing. I am so optimistic. I mean, I know these fans, our fans, they always have the doubts. The Hurts can't do this and that. Forget it. We're in every category, we're the better team. I just wanted to point one other thing out, and that was this. Mike, you had said the only way the Eagles could lose is if, like, Hurts went down.
Yeah, something that changes the impact of the game that is an intangible. Yeah.
Barkley or Hurts going down in the first quarter. Yeah, right. But I want to point out one other thing, and I hate to even think of it, but Detroit had 5 turnovers. If we have 5 turnovers, that could be a...
Yeah, but they're not going to have 5 turnovers because the quarterback doesn't put it up for grabs, A, and B, they don't fumble.
Well, we haven't, and you're right, but Detroit never had 5 turnovers either. So...
but that quarterback has been susceptible to turnovers his whole career. So it's not like that surprising that he would turn it over.
I think we win by 10. So
I agree with you. I'm on board with the 10.
Yeah, and
I think it might even be more.
Just to fact check Joe's call, the Lions did have 5 turnovers earlier in the season against Houston, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, they may have been 5 interceptions thrown by Jared Goff in that game. Looking now.
I think that's correct.
So, and the Eagles, you're right, and I said this earlier, in the last 12 games that Hurts has started and finished, they've only lost a turnover battle One time.
Yeah, they don't turn the ball over. So what could happen? Injury. That's the only thing that could happen. Prevent them winning the game. All right, 610-622-0975 is report. On the other side, looks like the Cowboys have hired their head coach, and it probably isn't going to be an Eagle assistant. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
The health of the birds. I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Groundworks, your expert for basement waterproofing and foundation repair since 1997. Book your free inspection at groundworks.com. We've got our first look at the health of a number of different Eagles players with the Wednesday injury report, which was an estimation due to the fact they went through a walkthrough and not a full practice yesterday. Jalen Hurts' knee, of course, the primary point of concern. He addressed his status yesterday when he met with the media after being listed as limited.
Yeah, I've just been progressing, taking it a day at a time. Was able to participate today and be involved in stuff, so just taking it a day at a time.
Feel like you're still on track to play Sunday?
Yeah.
Still on track to play, but he's not the only banged-up bird that was limited. Quinyon Mitchell also limited due to that shoulder. Again, both appearingly on track to play on Sunday. Both Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens were listed as did not practice on that report. The Eagles host the Commanders for the NFC Championship game Sunday at 3 o'clock. You can listen to the Westwood One broadcast of the game starting at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere in Philly sports, Flyers on the road against the Rangers tonight at 7. You can listen live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is also brought to you by KFC. KFC has 5 bowls for just $5 each, including the returning fan favorite mac and cheese bowl. Packed with all your favorite flavors, they've got your cravings covered. I'm Ray Dunn, reminding that live coverage of the Eagles Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday afternoon at 2 right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Fanatic, and we're headed towards the big game on Sunday. I do believe will be a convincing Eagles victory, and they will move on to the Super Bowl, which will make it 2 Super Bowls in a pretty quick period of time here with Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. We have extolled the virtues of Nick Sirianni, but today we also had to bring up an inflamed Bill. Nick Sirianni was not one of the 5 finalists for NFL Coach of the Year, which seems really a bit weird. Now, I don't know, like they really explored a new frontier coming into this year. So it was kind of a blank slate. It wasn't like it was a carryover team that was still pretty good. I mean, they had ended the season losing 6 or 7 games, and they had to be retooled, and they were retooled with 2 different coordinators. They were retooled with different players. So the head coach has to take some credit for that, and yet he was not nominated as one of the 5. Now, again, the 5 are Bill, it's Kevin O'Connell, it's Andy Reid, it's Sean Payton, it's Dan Campbell, and it's who else? It was the last one.
Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
Now, you can make a case for every one of those guys to be nominated, but I think this is a year where you have to go, well, it's a tie. And Nick Sirianni has to be, instead of 5, we can't limit it to 5 this year. We got to put it to 6. The Sirianni should absolutely be one of them. And you are totally incensed that Dan Campbell got the nod over Nick Sirianni.
I'm not angry that Dan Campbell's on the list. It's just that if you're going to put Campbell on the list, how do you not put Sirianni on? Because the arguments that people have against Sirianni, you could say the same thing about Campbell. Oh, well, he's got a great roster. Well, so do the Lions. He's got a great offensive coordinator. Well, so do the Lions. He's got a great defensive coordinator. Well, so do the Lions. But the one difference between Campbell and Sirianni, Campbell had expectations coming in. They were in the NFC Championship game last year. They were ranked number 1, 2, or 3 in every power rankings universally. Nobody expected this from the Eagles, maybe outside of Philadelphia. Nationally, people were expecting Sirianni to maybe not last the year. He was on the hot seat coming into the season.
You make a good case for Sirianni. You don't make a case for Campbell. Because as much as they were expected to be good, he still had to weather the storm with a ton of people that he lost for the season. So
and he deserved to be on the list. I'm not saying he didn't deserve to be on the list.
Say that. Here's the guy that doesn't deserve to be on the list. It's Andy Reid. I hate to say it, but the Chiefs were expected to still be excellent.
Yeah.
So what did he really do? If you look at everything else of all those guys, they did kind of the unexpected.
And well, that's usually what Coach of the Year is, right? It's the guy that comes in and they exceed expectations. That's usually the coach that wins it. But you're right, Andy Reid won the damn Super Bowl last year, and it's 1 o'clock, Mike.
All right, and you're listening to WPEN HD1, Burlington, Philadelphia, Beasley Media Group station, broadcasting live from the Comcast Business Studio. Powering possibilities. All right, the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys looks like it's going to be Brian Schottenheimer, their current offensive coordinator. Now, I got to be honest with you. I think that's a statement that they weren't exactly thrilled with Kellen Moore. He was 8 years there. He knew the landscape, the whole landscape of the Cowboys. This novice comes in. He gets the head coaching deal.
See, what I look at this is typical Jerry Jones move. Because Brian Schottenheimer is not a big splash. Doesn't take any of the light away from Jerry Jones. And I read this somewhere, and I don't remember where I'm reading it, so I apologize for not giving credit to the writer, but it was somebody who followed the Cowboys, and they said, Jerry Jones wants a coach that after the games, the media comes to Jerry Jones, not to the coach. He doesn't want a guy who's going to have this big personality where the media is going to flock to him.
Kellen Moore doesn't have a big personality.
He doesn't. So Kellen Moore could have made sense, but it made more sense for them to just say, you know what? Schottenheimer's already here. He's already our offensive coordinator. We're just going to go with this guy. We're not going to change a lot.
Schottenheimer's a bigger name than Kellen Moore.
You think so?
Yes. The Schottenheimer name itself is bigger than what Kellen Moore is. I'm just saying Kellen
It used
Moore,
to be with Marty Ball.
Well, still, the Schottenheimer name, it's like the Shanahan name. It's this kind of same thing. So when Kellen Moore, 8 years was there. He got an interview in 8 years. Like, I don't understand how he doesn't get the job. I think that Jerry Jones actually went for the bigger name. He went for the Schottenheimer name instead of the guy that maybe was more comfortable there.
maybe you're right, but I'll say this. I know there are some people out there who said, take Kellen Moore, take Kellen Moore. This is a good thing. The best season Jalen Hurts ever had was when he had his offensive coordinator 2 straight years. This would have been the 6th play caller in the last 6 seasons. He would have also lost his quarterback coach, Doug Nussmeier. This is the best thing that could happen for the Eagles is you run it back with the same coordinators next year, regardless of what happens the rest of the way. I think this is a good thing for the Philadelphia Eagles. And also, Brian Schottenheimer does not scare me, so the Dallas Cowboys will continue to stay in mediocrity.
All right. So Kellen Moore's going to still be here with his brilliant game plan to just give the ball to Saquon?
Obviously and certainly.
Okay. All right.
Did you get what I did there, Ray?
I did. That was really good. Good job, Bill. Very funny.
Let's go to Dave. Funny. David and Drexel. So you guys didn't bond.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
There was no
It's
bonding
funny to me, too.
on that coffee walk, apparently. David and Bluebell, or Drexel Hill, sorry. David, you're on 97.5 The
Hey,
Fanatic.
how you doing? Hey, the first thing that if Washington's quarterback has a good game, great game, then what does that mean? Our defense stunk, and I don't think that's going to happen. I think our
I
defense
agree.
is going to hold
Listen,
up.
he makes plays enough where he's going to throw for 250. That doesn't mean the defense wasn't good against them. It all depends on how they limit the scoring with this guy.
And here's something else. Everybody's forgetting. When you watch Andy Reid's team, when you watch, what's the boy that's the old champion, 7 seasons. I lost my mind. I've been on hold so long. Brady. What was the thing that won them championships, right? They all played on a team where the defense kept them, and they can come back that last play of the game, get close enough. Brady won, 3 Super Bowls on field goals?
Did he?
I think, I believe so.
But in all those games, his numbers are probably spectacular.
Patrick Mahomes won close games. So here's the only thing that's scaring me is that what if the game gets down to the last 3 seconds of the game and we got to kick a 50-yard field goal?
Oh, you worried about
That's
Kicky
the
Boy?
only thing
You worried about
that scared
Kicky
me.
Boy?
Yeah, listen,
And I'm
David,
still
you don't have to be
supporting him.
worried about a field goal. You just got to be worried about extra points because we know that Jake Elliott is the worst kicker in postseason history when it comes to extra points, but he's the best kicker in postseason history when it comes to field goals. Doesn't make any sense.
Then guess what? You sold me because I'm taking him out on the ship with me because it's do or die right now, and I'm praying that that's what happens.
I think that is a very legitimate concern that David has.
About the kicker.
Yes.
Listen, until he shows me that he's not a clutch kicker, I'm not worried.
He hasn't shown you from 50 yards that he's a clutch kicker. He has it, and you may need that in this game. That's not a worry to you? Yeah, sure. Anybody, 38-yarders, maybe even 40, stretch it to 44 like he did last week, that's fine and dandy. But when you get to the big turf in a game like this where you need a field goal, I am definitely scared. That means the Eagles have to really get deep into their territory before they think about the field goal.
You confident at 49?
No. I'm not confident at 49. I max out at 44 now with him.
Which he made in the snow in bad weather.
Which means you're going to have to maybe go for it on 4th downs that you don't want to go for it on 4th downs. That's a definite concern. Now, they're 6.5-point favorites, so it's not a big concern. But it is a concern.
And then in the playoffs, in the Super Bowl if they get there, it's indoors.
Yeah,
a little bit different.
That wouldn't worry me as much.
Yeah.
But this guy is not the same kicker. That's not saying next year he'll bounce back. You know the way it works. They lose it sometimes.
They do. Kickers are weird.
And the fact that he's not making extra points is silly to me. That's a lack of concentration. And that's what's bugging me.
How crazy is that, though? Ruben Frank put that out there. Worst kicker in postseason history for extra points. Best kicker in field goals.
That scares the hell out of me. That means his concentration is a tad off. His swing is a tad off. That extra point should not be a problem for him. It's in his head. So what 50-plus is in his head, too. It's a definite worry for me. 610-632-0975. The Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Andrew Salciunas.
They're in the NFC
Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5, The Fanatic. I like to bounce around every now and then. Like these, we talk intensely about the Eagles, and sometimes I like to throw in some different topics.
Want to talk Flyers?
Flyers won last night, didn't they?
They didn't play last night, but
they
they won the other night. They're
in overtime, right?
5-0-1 in their last 6.
Nah, they're hot.
There's a shot. They play tonight against the Rangers, but there's a shot that they're going to make the playoffs. We'll see if they're sellers at the deadline. Briere kind of didn't rule that out when he talked. Briere and Jonesy.
Sixers, meanwhile, gave up 144 2 nights ago. Kelly Oubre was a minus 74.
You know what my dream, you know what my wish is outside of the Eagles winning the Super Bowl?
What?
I want you, me, and Ray to be down there broadcasting from the Wells Fargo Center for an NHL playoff game this summer. It's been a while, Ray. That'd be nice.
How about if we wait until the new building is built and then I'll go?
How many years you got to wait for that?
Well, however long it takes, you can wheel me in there.
There's nothing like playoff hockey. You know that.
Okay, here's the thing I wanted to talk about. I read this story. First of all, have you seen this documentary on Netflix on the Jerry Springer Show?
Yes, I watched it maybe last week.
Did you see this, Ray?
I've seen the trailer for it.
Okay. It's pretty interesting, right?
It could have been better, though.
It could have been better, but it is pretty interesting. But that's not the interesting part, because now a story has broke that a producer for that show has come out and said, and it's not the one that's featured in this documentary, it's another producer, saying that he served as sort of a quote-unquote pimp for Jerry, who would have, all the flea hags that came on that show, right? Jerry apparently was, he was hooking up with him.
Well, there was only they talk about it in the documentary. There's the one story where he got caught with two guests.
He got caught,
but they kind of gloss over that.
They were hookers.
Gotcha.
They were hookers. He apparently was hooking up with regular guests that they brought on, that they specifically recruited for Jerry.
Jerry. Yeah, they don't really get into it that much in the documentary.
No, they scared it because they didn't want to, I think, make him look really bad in that documentary. But now all these other stories are coming out.
Yeah, well, he passed away recently, so I guess they didn't want to make him look too bad. You know what I thought the craziest part of that documentary was when they talked about, I forget how they called it, like the Springer Triangle, and they show you where 95% of the guests on the show came from in Middle America.
Yeah.
That was wild.
Yeah, it stretched from Tennessee to Nebraska, somewhere in there.
Yeah, like this is where a majority of all of the guests on the Jerry Springer Show had come from. Pretty wild.
Yeah, well. Come on, Jerry. You're a big star. You can date regular people.
Well, the main producer of the show in the documentary is like,
that guy's a maniac.
Yeah, if we could have killed someone on television, we would have done it.
That Dominic.
Yeah, he was a maniac.
Producers, man.
Yeah.
They're just nuts.
Raise the anti-Jerry Springer producer. Right?
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Let's go.
Let's get back to the Eagles.
Yeah, Ray mutes me all the time.
Well, that's different. That's different. That has nothing to do. That's just protecting our listeners, really.
Let's go to Declan on his cell. What's up, Declan?
Hey, guys. How you doing today?
Good, man. How you doing?
Good. Just one thing that I've been concerned of with the last two playoff games against Green Bay and against the Rams is the defense has been getting turnovers. They've been getting it all year long, but the offense hasn't been able to capitalize off those turnovers. You look at Rodgers, he goes inside the 10-yard line. Zach Bond gets a fumble recovery midfield, and they have to settle for 3 both times. So I was wondering, do you guys think that's a level of concern?
No. I really don't, because I have so much faith in what the Eagles do defensively that I understand that squandering a touchdown for a field goal can hurt you. I just don't think in this game it's going to hurt them that much, because I think Washington is going to do the same thing. Like, they're not going to score touchdowns. It's going to be difficult for them to score touchdowns, I think. So that balances it out.
Yeah, and the Commanders' defense this season was 22nd in the NFL in red zone defense. They haven't had a great red zone defense. And the Eagles, they were middle of the pack, 13th in the league in red zone offense, but they had a top 5 red zone defense. So I'm not worried about red zone.
Yeah, I just think, going off of turnovers, especially in this game, I just don't want Washington hanging around to the fourth quarter. I just think if they get those turnovers, they can't be settling for 3, especially with Jake Elliott right now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a level of concern.
Yeah,
for me.
no, I get it. It all depends on how deep they get. Like I say, if it's a longer field goal, I worry, and that's going to really look bad if they don't cash in. But, I think they can get deep enough to make it easier on him. But he's a worry for me, no question. All right, Declan, you got it, buddy. Yeah, well, Zane Gonzalez is their kicker, right?
Yeah, he's not
he's
great.
Like the he's like the Bill Colarulo of the Redskins.
Of the Commanders?
Commanders.
Yeah, but I don't know what that means. He's not that great.
He's got a what do you have? What is it called? It's not compulsive. What is it? He's
OCD.
OCD.
Oh, yeah, where he keeps rubbing his head?
Yeah, he has OCD.
I don't really have OCD.
When you have something else.
I have ADD.
ADD. Yeah, he's got ADD.
Undiagnosed, by the way.
He's got ADDD.
ADDD.
He's freaking out on the sidelines and going.
Yeah, he does. Remember they were showing that one video of him. But this goes right to the topic that we were talking about today. We were talking about how Philadelphia fans are nervous constantly.
Yeah.
I just get a text from my father. He was at Methodist Hospital this morning in South Philadelphia, where I was born, by the way. And the receptionist recognized his last name and says, "Oh, I listened to your son on the radio." And then she says, her exact words, and my dad quotes, "I'm a typical Philly fan. I'm all in and I'm excited, but I know at the very end they'll break my heart."
She said that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Typical Philadelphia fan.
Well,
why? Why are they going to break your heart?
I can only fight so much of the battle. And then I go, all right, well, I don't know. It's really weird. And I've been here all my life, so I understand the disappointments that people feel. I just don't like to carry them over. It's like every team is different, and one failure doesn't have. It's like what this cloud of stink that hangs over the field. That's what I don't get about it.
And it's previous teams, especially in other sports, and even in this sport, they shouldn't have an impact. Every year is a new year. I mean, it's not as if Nick Sirianni, Jalen Hurts, and a majority of the players on this team have consistently broken your heart. I mean, they were in the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. They dominated.
You can look at every city, and every team is going to somehow, quote unquote, break your heart in some form. It's not like we haven't experienced winning here. We have. Now, maybe we haven't won enough commensurate to what we are as far as the large market, but it's not like we're like it was that guy that was always the humdrum guy in the cartoon. What's his name?
Eeyore?
No, well, Eeyore, but there's another guy that's more prevalent that people bring up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
But yeah, or like the Peanuts. Who was that? The guy who was Eeyore-like in the Peanuts comic strip. There's a
Ray, help us out here.
There's a cartoon. What is the guy's name? Schlepper or Schleppen? It's like the Flintstone-related cartoon. That the guy's the loser.
I'm looking up top 10 depressed cartoon characters.
This guy's always brought up. I think it's a Flintstone type of cartoon that people always bring up. I don't know. Well,
I can't find it.
Yeah, I can't get it. 610-632-0975. Nick Sirianni, not nominated for Coach of the Year. He's coming up at 125. I wonder if anyone will ask him about it. What are the odds, Bill? What are the odds that somebody asks him about it? Percentage. What's the percentage?
10% chance.
10% chance? I actually think it's lower than that. We're back after this.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Out of the Birds, I'm Ray Dunn. This update is brought to you by Corona. Join Ricky Bo and Tyrone at 97.5, the Fanatics official Birds playoff watch party at Wicked Wolf on Chestnut Street in Center City Sunday at 2:30. Presented by Corona, and enter for a chance to win exclusive football prizes. We got our first look at the health of a number of Eagles players with the Wednesday injury report, which was an estimation due to the fact they went through a walkthrough and not a full practice. Quarterback Jalen Hurts' knee, of course, the primary point of concern this week. He was limited, and he addressed his status when he met with the media yesterday.
Yeah, it's just been progressing, taking it a day at a time. Was able to participate today and be involved in stuff, so just taking it a day at a time.
Feel like you're still on track to play Sunday?
Yeah.
Still on track to play Sunday. Hurt's not the only one limited as banged up Bird. Quinyon Mitchell was limited due to his shoulder. Again, both seem to be tracked towards playing on Sunday. Dallas Goedert and Cam Jurgens both listed as did not practice. Eagles host the Commanders to the NFC Championship game Sunday at 3 o'clock. You can listen to the Westwood One broadcast of the game starting at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Elsewhere in Philly sports, the Flyers are on the road against the Rangers tonight at 7 o'clock. You can listen live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update's also brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone, free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes AutoZone's America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone. I'm Ray Dunn. Remind that live coverage of Eagles and Commanders in the NFC Championship game from Westwood One starts Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock right here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
We are awaiting the head coach and an extra presser thrown in for this week. Nick Sirianni gets ready to prepare the Eagles for the NFC title game. He will meet with the media one more time. We are waiting on that for him to come to the podium. He may come when we have to get to closing arguments, but we're going to hang in there with it.
Sounds good.
Let me give you some.
I don't like tardiness.
Yeah, he's going to be tardy.
No, I think he's going to be on time.
The doom and gloom thing, the cartoon I was talking about, the guy's name was Schlepprock.
Yeah, YouTube got it. My dad texted it to me, so they knew what you were talking about.
And he's a gloomy, unlucky, depressed teenager, known for having exceptionally bad luck, and he's a friend of Pebbles and Bam Bam. So this is the beyond the Flintstones when Pebbles and Bam Bam had their own cartoon.
And you left it out. It says, who also grew up in the South Philadelphia area rooting for Philadelphia sports teams.
See, back then, in caveman times, if they had medication for depression, he would be taking Lexapro. See what I did there? Huh? Shh. That's pretty good.
There it is. We've had a couple of good ones today.
Schlepprock.
I still think podcast DNP was better.
That's a pretty good one. I'm sorry. That's one of those things I'm sorry I didn't think of it. And you did?
I'm kind of upset he thought of it, too.
You know, sometimes it's a spark.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow, I love our audience because they find stuff. Like, I talk about it, but they find stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody found the interview that I did with Justin Bieber way back in the day where he called in the celebrity call-in contest.
Yeah, they were talking about it on the YouTube chat. I haven't heard it yet, so I'm looking forward to hearing it.
So we're going to play that tomorrow for you because I don't even remember what I said to the kid.
And he was a kid then, right?
Yeah, but I had to be quick on my feet and talk about his life and his songs and whatever.
All right, so we'll do that tomorrow. And we're live at Rally House tomorrow.
We are live at Rally House tomorrow in Willow Grove. So if you're in that area, you want to stop by and say hello like a lot of good people did when we were there before.
And I'll have a voice this time, which will be great.
Yeah. You hung in there. You did pretty good.
We had people dropping off tea and stuff to me.
You battled. It was impressive.
It was.
Thank you, Ray.
Yeah. I actually sent the girl to get it.
Yeah, that was nice of her. I'm forgetting her name now, too, and I apologize.
Yeah, she did a nice job for us.
She did.
Back some coffee. Yeah.
So, you know what I think we need to, and maybe we can get some of these tomorrow? I keep comparing this Eagles team to the Legion of Boom defense. Mm-hmm. I think this Eagles defense needs a nickname.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Dude, if they win and go to the Super Bowl, this defense deserves a damn nickname. Number one in the NFL. The one that's coming to my mind so far is Vicks Vapor Rub. Crickets?
That's god-awful. Seriously.
On the same day you came up with podcast DNP, you bring us that.
Vicks Vapor Rub. Eliminating opposing offenses.
What does Vicks Vapor Rub eliminate?
What the hell is
it eliminates your snot.
It doesn't eliminate anything.
It soothes the nose.
It soothes. It doesn't eliminate.
It eliminates the snot for your thing. Used to, my grandmom used to, just lather it all over our chest and stuff when we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, man, they're throwing tomatoes at me on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a bad.
All right, well, we need a good one. So come up with a good one. I want that nickname tomorrow this defense deserves a nickname. And it can't be the gangrene defense. We've already had that. If we're going to compare them to the Legion of Boom, they need a damn nickname.
I don't know, man. Nicknames are just to me.
This is bad. This is very, very bad.
So this is what happens when Sirianni's late. You see?
I don't like tardiness.
Sirianni's late. I'm telling you.
Like nothing good was ever going to happen to you.
By the way, we announced some big news a little earlier today that we're actually going to have the Eagles Commanders game on our airwaves.
Correct. Is this the first time ever an Eagles game will be aired on 97.5 The Fanatic? Probably.
I don't know, but it's a Westwood One broadcast. If you like the national broadcast and you're driving around, you put us on. I know a lot of people out there would say, well, why would I do that? Well, we make it available for you. How's that? And we're also going to have an expanded Birds Insider pregame.
I'll be a part of it.
With Andrew Salciunas, Bill Colarulo, and Connor Thomas.
So we're going to start the day at 9 a.m. It'll be Andrew DeCecco and John Kincade. Then I'll be joining them at 10 o'clock. It'll be all three of us. Mm-hmm. And then DeCecco and Kincade head over to the game, and I'll be joined by Salciunas and Connor Thomas. We're going to be down at Xfinity Live. So starting 9 a.m. on Sunday, leading you all the way up until the kickoff, and then including the kickoff right here on 97.5.
That's all brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. Make every moment more. Promo code is pregame. Plus, after the game, how about this? Guess who's showing up with Kevin Cooney?
Oh, let me think. Who could it be?
It's our own Ray Dunn.
Who
is he? Who
is he?
Doing the post-game show. Now, Ray, is this post-game show going to be it's going to be shorter post-game show because the Westwood One has their own post-game show, right?
We're going to be pushed back. So we're going to have the trophy presentation regardless of result on these airwaves.
Okay, so I take it that you would like to get on the air a little sooner.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to get on a little bit, especially if I don't want to listen to the Commanders get handed a trophy.
Before you start the post game, the first thing I want you to say to Kevin Cooney is that they should change the way they vote for the Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's lit him up. It's caused a feud between he and John Kincade here.
Oh.
At 97.5.
That's what I missed over the 36 hours I was gone?
Yeah, apparently you missed that.
Oh.
Yeah, John said that it's too antiquated just having the writers, and Kevin was very offended.
Oh, Kevin has a vote?
Yeah,
Correct.
Kevin has a vote.
Yeah.
And I'm actually on Kevin's side here. Nobody watches more baseball than the guys who cover baseball. They cover 9 innings every pitch, and they watch it, the MLB package, the whole thing. They keep up with it.
Don't they have a veterans committee? Is that supposed to clean up the things that they don't like?
Yeah, that's part of it. They have a veterans committee that can climb in there.
By the way, guys, just don't want to throw away our Baseball Hall of Fame talk, but our favorite coach, we've been pushed back to 140 to 145 time frame.
Okay.
This is why he's not getting any votes. This is why he's not nominated for Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year, show up on time. Show up when you're supposed to show up.
Nick Sirianni will be on at 145. And hopefully we can just take you right in. We'll sign off at 1:45.
Probably.
We lead you right into the best show ever.
Yes, we can. And now it opens up the door for our man T-Love.
That's right. T-Love in Delco. Thanks for checking in, T-Love. What's up?
Hey, what's up, fellas? Phil, congratulations to you and your lovely wife.
Thank you, my man. I appreciate it. We're not getting any sleep, but it's worth it.
So is this your first?
It's me and my wife's first. I have 2 others from a prior marriage, but it's me and my wife's first one. So
okay,
everybody's excited. The kids are excited. They got a little sister, so I appreciate it, man.
That's great. That's great. I think the last baby on the station was Connor's child. So
Connor doesn't have a child, does he?
Well, Connor doesn't have any kids he knows about. I think you're talking about Andrew.
Andrew Salciunas,
okay.
yeah.
It was the Tunis, right? Okay,
Yeah.
My bad.
I thought we were about to learn something incredible.
But yeah.
I don't want to start nothing in his household.
Yeah.
Too late, T-Love.
Yeah, Slut Rock was a Moosh character.
Yeah, Schleprock, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Whenever he came around, everything went bad. He was a bad luck dude.
Yeah.
And here's another fun fact. You know who did the voice of Pebbles Flintstone?
No.
Sally Struthers.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. How about that? Pebbly Pooh? Wait, when Pebbly Pooh was younger or older?
Well, the teenage version.
Oh, okay. Because
she was doing cartoon voices at that time.
Right.
You know?
Flintstones is the greatest cartoon ever created, by the way.
One of them, for sure. Listen, this is a great time to be a Philadelphia fan. I mean, especially Eagles fan. The greatest thing, other than the fact that they may go to the Super Bowl, is the fact that they're taking our mind off of the sorry, you-know-what Sixers.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a great thing, man. I just, in this lifetime, I've already come to the fact, to the realization that I will probably never see another Sixers title in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already reserved to that fact. I just thank God that I was able to see the first. I feel sorry for you younger cats, man, because this city, well, you see how it goes when we do win, you know. And the Sixers, the city loves the Sixers. I don't know if the Sixers loves us the way we love them.
Yeah.
You know?
I got you. I got you, bro.
Yeah, which is sad. But go Go ahead.
All right, T-Love. I appreciate it. We got to get to a cartoons now. I'm thinking like Flintstones. Flintstones are so far above everything. It's like you have to go down to number 2. My number 2 is Top Cat.
Yes,
Top Cat, the indisputable leader of the gang.
So you and I are a different era. Because for me, my favorite ones were G.I. Joe, Thundercats, and He-Man.
Yeah, they're so.
And top of the list, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in a Half Shell.
You're cutting off the Roadrunner and a Coyote. You're cutting off Johnny Quest. Come on, man.
Yeah, dude.
But Top Cat was the coolest. That's
going
number 2.
You're showing your age here.
Oh, but Top Cat is it resonant. The Flintstones, I'll show my age too. But the Flintstones is far and above. Top Cat was just as clever.
I don't know.
You never saw Top Cat?
Never.
The cats in the alley? The hip cats in the alley?
The ones where the cats are in the alley.
Yes.
No, never saw it. I got so excited. Oh, last thing before we hit the break. T-Love says that the Eagles are taking our mind off the Sixers. Not this weekend, they're not. Because you're going to see Josh Harris on the Commanders' side. It's going to make us relive both nightmares. I pray to God they don't win.
Top Cat, the indisputable leader of the gang.
Never heard of it, man.
Oh, come on, man. Mike Missanelli Show continues.
Now, a Birds Insider Update.
He's still tardy. I feel sorry for the people who don't know who Top Cat is. You know, a lot of people say Bugs Bunny. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like Bugs. He was a punk. Bugs needed a smack. So I didn't like
Yeah, see,
but see, I like cool cartoons, like clever ones. Like Flintstones are clever as hell. The way they wrote it. Top Cat was like right in that echelon. Top Cat, and then think about the premise. It's a dirty New York alley, and they're alley cats, and they're all gangsters, and they all had cool nicknames, like Benny the Ball, Choo Choo, Brain, Fancy, and Spook. And the leader was Top Cat, TC they call him. And they would get into they had all these scams, gambling activities, and all these stunts where they're trying to fleece people out of money. And they had a beat cop that would chase them out of the alley all the time called Officer Dibble. Now, it doesn't get any cooler than that as a cartoon.
Sounds cool.
Seriously, I feel bad for people that never experienced Top Cat.
Come on, man. You're talking about Ninja Turtles, who were turtles that grew into be ninjas.
You like the lame modern cartoon. Like, there's no cleverness in the Ninja Turtles. There was cleverness in the writing of the Flintstones, even the Jetsons, but I didn't really like the futuristic thing that much. But the Jetsons were clever, too.
It's interesting, the two big cartoons back then. One was the future and one was the
I'm
past.
going to tell you what the coolest black and white TV show was that you can still see. The Munsters. It was brilliantly written.
What do you watch, Me TV all night?
No, I was saying, like, from my youth. Like, shows like the Rockford Files. They were cool. They were cool as hell. Nothing is cool anymore. Like, The Shield was kind of cool for a network show.
I don't know.
But for the most part, network shows aren't as cool as they were.
Yeah,
Rockford Files was cool.
It's a different time.
It's a shame, man. You guys are too young for the coolness of good TV back in the day and good cartoons.
Are we still really waiting on this head coach?
Yeah, we're waiting on the head coach. Believe this?
Your boy.
We may get all the way to 2 o'clock.
He's pissed that he wasn't named as one of the 5 finalists. So he's going to stretch it out.
So I'm not doing a good enough job.
Media people that did not lobby for him.
Or maybe they're giving him some PR right now saying, look, they're going to ask you about not being coach of the year. Don't act like you're upset.
Or maybe they are coaching him. But this leaves us in a really uncomfortable spot because, we're going to have as soon as he comes on, we're going to have to sign off. We're not going to be able to do the closing argument. So Ray, do me a favor. Play the closing argument sponsored thing right now. So because we're required to do that.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
And today's closing argument is the head football coach for the team that's going to play for the NFC title being rude enough to be late for his specially created, by the way, presser and inconveniencing Ray Dunn, our producer, who has to be on guard for these timely elements in the world of radio.
Well, and it's going to get more complicated because then the next show hits television. So I don't know what they're going to do.
We're out at the time that's on that screen right there.
All right, so
whether this coach decides he wants to speak or not.
The coach is going to speak, and he's going to bleed into the next show, which is fine. They'll handle it. They'll handle their business. But again, this is a guy who's supposed to be on at 125. And he shows no regard for the responsibilities of the media. He's thinking that, the writers, they're going to wait. They have no choice but to wait. But there are other things they have to be conscious of. I think if you're a conscientious fella.
Now, I wonder if, and we'll play this clip tomorrow probably, but the Commanders' defensive coordinator had some strong words. That they're going to hit Jalen Hurts if he runs.
Yeah,
so I wonder if they're going to ask Sirianni about that.
He's throwing down the gauntlet. This what's his name? Joe Witt.
Joe Witt. We're going to hit him.
Coordinator,
and that's their decision if they want to get him hit. The way that he gets
he's
hit.
warning them. Yeah, you want to run those keepers? Guess what? Your gimpy quarterback may feel it.
Well, this is coming on the heels though of Frankie Louvu taking that cheap shot at Hurts in the last meeting that knocked him out of the game for a concussion. So this is going to be interesting. They better be ready to stick up for their buddy.
We are now informed that it's going to be closer to 150 when the head coach goes on.
They'll play you the highlights from it coming up on the best show
That's
ever.
25. That's 25 minutes late. Come on, man. Seriously, people are laughing at us. Oh, we don't care if he inconveniences the media. He's the head coach. He's got responsibilities. He's got to prepare the team. And you wouldn't be wrong. You know?
No,
I'm just saying it. You know.
Well, I just got notification on Twitter that he's at the podium. So.
Oh, he is?
Are we going to him, Ray, or are we just going to have the highlights on the best?
You
show?
got notification that the live stream has started. Not that he's gotten to the podium. No, he's still taking his grand old time.
All right. Well, I threw out earlier that I think this defense needs a nickname, and I said Vicks Vapor Rub, and nobody liked it. But we did get a couple of them on the YouTube chat. What about instead of gangrene, they said Fangreen for Vic Fangio?
This is bad. This is very bad.
It's not a hard G. It would be Fange Green.
Fange Green.
It can't be Fang Green. It's not a hard G.
We got the Brotherly Studs. Somebody said.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we need the Devengers. There's some really bad nicknames, man.
That's why you can't go into the nickname area.
Fang Green wins. People are saying in the chat.
Nothing beats gangrene, right? So why we even?
Well, how about this? Gangrene, the sequel. Ray?
I mean, isn't the whole thing about sequels that they're never as good? I wouldn't want to put that on this group.
Godfather 2 could be arguably better than Godfather 1.
Well, good. You found the one. So we're doing the 2013 Seahawks of sequels. We're finding the one example where it worked.
All right, somebody's got to come up with a good nickname. We're going to get some text tomorrow. So we'll talk more about that tomorrow from Rally House. Ray, you're not with us at Rally House, though. You'll be back here?
Right here.
See, if Ray would be doing this as a producer. Like if he wasn't on camera.
Yeah.
Like he would be.
Keep it going.
Like the TV thing. Stretch. I've had that
Keep
many
it going.
times in my career.
All right, well, let me ask you then. I'm going to stretch it out because I told you earlier in the show and you didn't answer me. I tweeted something out. I constantly hear this argument that Nick Sirianni only has the success he has because of the talented roster, and that Jalen Hurts only continues to win because of the talented roster. And I threw out the question, or is it that the talented roster is having this level of success because of Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts? Which one is it? What do you give more credit to? The talented roster or the head coach and the quarterback that are leading this talented
Are you
roster?
really asking me that question seriously?
You think it's just the talented roster?
No, I don't think it's just. But he has a talented roster. Now, when you have a talented roster, you have to figure out a way to coach it properly. He's done that. But it's certainly more of a talented roster than it is a product of the head coach. I mean, they got the best running back they've ever had. They've got the best defensive tackle they've ever had. They've got the best defense they've ever had. They've got A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith as receivers. They've got the best offensive line they've ever had. It's not the talent.
We've seen talented rosters that have not had this level of success.
This is the most talented roster they've ever had. So, while I don't want to take away any...
and I'm not just talking about I'm talking about the quarterback, too. I'm talking about Jalen, too. Because Jalen, it's constantly, look at all the talent he has around him. But he is the most important position in all of sports.
You have to be able to manage the good talent. The quarterback has done that. The head coach has done that. That's as far as I'll go. But I'm not going to go, it's a product of the head coach more than it is the talent, because that can't be possible.
Maybe you're right in that it's not more than the talent.
I'm in a sneezing fit all of a sudden. We got him? Is that him?
Yeah, I just pulled him up. But the problem is we're not going to go to him now. So you'll get the highlights of it on the next show. Right, Ray? We're not going to him.
No, we're not going right down.
All right, well, maybe they can play it in its entirety or something.
Yeah.
I don't know what their plan is, but that'll do it for today's show. A closing argument.
I got a closing argument on this guy. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah,
125.
I would normally maybe put that out closing argument, but nobody really cares. Nobody really cares that he's late. So, and that's fine.
That's all right. You already given the stretch sign.
I understand the people. I understand what the people.
You know who showed up today on time for their presser? The coordinators for the Commanders.
Tomorrow,
I don't know that for a fact.
For the record, I'm going to show up late for the show at Rally House. I'll be in the store shopping.
Sounds good.
When the show comes on.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. We really appreciate it. Tomorrow, you're going to hear my interview with Justin Bieber, this many years ago when he called in on the celebrity call-in contest where we gave away Eagles season tickets. We're also going to talk about that defensive coordinator laying down the gauntlet on Jalen Hurts. Don't run. If you run, we may hurt him.
Yeah, and it's curious. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. He puts that out there. Do the referees maybe look at this a little bit differently? We know Mahomes gets all the calls. Do they now look at it and say, you know what? If they're going to hit Hurts, you better be careful because we're going to throw the flag.
Is there a double standard for Hurts since he squats like 900 pounds? And
Without a doubt.
Stronger than an ox.
Last week against the Rams, they could have easily thrown the flag when he got hit late out of bounds. They didn't do it. And I was okay with the non-call, but Mahomes would have got that call.
This is what I think he should do. I think he should run to the sidelines like he does when he's scrambling, and I think he should slow down right when he gets to the sidelines. I think that would benefit the Eagles, and I get you, every Eagle fan would give a thumbs up on that move.
Bush League.
All right. Stay tuned. That show over coming up. Have a great night, everybody. Be safe out there. The roads are icy. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Fanatic Sports.
Rangers tonight at 7 o'clock. You can listen live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. This update is brought to you by WorldwideStereo.com. Worldwide Stereo's new trade-in program makes it easier to upgrade your home audio system. Find out what your old gear is worth. The best trade-in allowance